go.
I hear the music that I'm playing now.
No, I can hit play and it'll play Spotify for me behind this, and I can see what you guys.
That's cool.
Very odd. Kind of cool. Get you back.
Feeling good.
Sad but true. It wanted to. That song doesn't make me want to punch through a fucking titanium wall. Been talking to this guy?
Just wants to fucking jump it.
It's like it's glitching. It's like, oh my god, bench broke.
Alright.
Hi. We're awake. This is the Bonded by Horror show. It's an early morning episode. We're gonna do something kind of relevant to the times. So hopefully whoever's watching this live, if anybody's watching this live, hopefully you're with us. It's gonna be kind of a quick one, a little more rapid fire than our normal stuff. We're gonna get into the breakdown of what we're doing in a minute. First, let's get the introductions out of the way. I am Eddie Vegas, also known as the guy from Pumpalicious. Hey, this shirt right here is the most 90s thing I could find before I got into this. So whoever wants to go next, this guy, whoever, go ahead.
JC Walsh, and I am rocking Friday the 13th, the final chapter, getting that slasher mood. Now, it's
Fuck
not
yeah.
the 90s, but it is 1984, and we got 1994. Look at that.
Ooh,
Wow,
Ooh.
that is very tricky. Yo, what up, guys? It's Witchy Scrooge. How's it going? I couldn't think of anything. Like that was like I was watching the movie, and it's like they're not giving me enough. I could have come up with like dealer.
Witchy Scrooge.
There's like dealer
you could have
Scrooge.
went with you could have went with Skull Mask Scrooge.
No.
Skullmaster. No.
Mm-mm.
Shady Side Scrooge or Shady Scrooge.
Shady?
Oh, I could have just done
Scrooge?
Shady. Oh
Could've just done
shit.
Shady.
Oh,
'Cause we know what it's like to be on the shady side of things.
Oh, did you come up with that one all
Boom.
on your own?
That's what I'm saying, motherfucker.
Coffee,
All
not
right.
whiskey.
The
Oh,
coffee. The coffee was necessary. I got me a large cold brew. Right
Actually, I'm
next
going
to
to start my next one.
I have a latte.
A latte, huh?
Yeah,
Well,
man.
there must be a latte in there. All right.
I'm already disappearing on you.
Here's what we have today, gentlemen and ladies and gentlemen and ghouls alike. A little bit different of an episode than what we've been doing or what we typically do, which is like a breakdown of like an older movie. We do like dissections of movies. We do like a long form breakdown, scene by scene. What do we love? What we don't love? There's a relevant horror series out right now on Netflix. It's called Fear Street. It's an R.L. Stein set of books, I believe, right,
Nerd.
Joe? Is what it is. Okay. R.L. Stein set of books, and Joe was hyping it up to us. He's the one who heard about it or found out about it.
Nerd rage bad.
To it. And we were like, well, hey, we haven't had an opportunity to do anything super relevant since we've been doing this because not a lot's come out yet, but the floodgates are fucking opening and like the world is about to kind of go crazy. Like I already have a few concert tickets lined up and now a bunch of movies are coming out and like my brain is like,
Yeah.
holy
With
crap,
this new
there's a lot
up and
of
coming
stuff going on.
author R.L. Stein.
R.L. Stein.
I've never heard of him. I think he made
Nerd.
Duck Dumps. I think that was a book he made, like a book series.
Goose poop.
Yeah, Goose Poops.
Goose poops.
Goose poops.
Moose poops.
The Goose
Yeah,
Poops.
exactly. So the series, if you haven't heard about it, it's called Fear Street. I think I might have already said that, but the coffee's already kicking in, so now I'm going warp
You
speed.
did.
That's okay. This is for Fear Street 94, which is the first episode it came, or first movie or whatever. It came out, I think, last weekend, right, Joe?
Yeah.
Last Friday.
Yep.
And
Excuse me.
we wanted to give you guys something relevant that's out right now. We're not going to do a full-blown dissection. We're going to try to keep this kind of short and to the point, and we're not going to give too many spoilers, if any at all. I really don't want to give any spoilers away. I would really like to just kind of do more of if we have a scene or two that we like and what we think about the story. And I know Joe has a couple things that he wants to talk about, so I'm really going to let him guide the ship on this one for the most part. I'm just kind of getting the introduction out of the way. Outside of that, and at the very end of this, we'll get our typical plugs in. But also, if you're listening to this or watching this, this whole week we're gonna bang out all of them because the second one came out last night, which was July 9th. Today's the 10th, and then the third one comes out next week. So we're gonna get the first two parts out within the next couple days here. This one obviously being the first one, and then after next Friday, we're gonna do a show breaking down the whole series with all of them, and then that'll be like where we kind of get into a little bit more of a spoiler thing, and do the full dissection.
Get your drinks. It's gonna be a late night for that one.
Yeah, we'll have exactly. That'll be like the party show. That's the one where we kind of like do the big thing. And how we do that, we can end up making this a four show thing altogether, or we can just do this in three. It's kind of up to you guys. Maybe three quick shows, and then one big like let's really tear this son of a bitch apart, like an hour and a half, 2 hour while we're sipping. So we can do some fun shit with this one. But
that's a great idea too, is the way they connect and everything. So
yeah,
that's all I'm gonna say on that. Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll leave that there. If you haven't heard about it, go check it out. It's on Netflix. It's pretty much everybody in the world has Netflix, and if you don't, just ask one of your neighbors. They'll probably give you their password. That's pretty much how everybody does it now. But that aside, whoever wants to start with this one can go because we're not doing this one the way we normally would.
So I'll go
ahead.
ahead. So like right away when we jump into this movie, you're already getting that 90s feel. Even though this is like filmed today, and we know that it's 90s nostalgia. Instead of 80s nostalgia, which what we're usually talking about, because it's been the big thing lately. What's really cool is now we get the 90s nostalgia, which is a big thing, especially for me and Ed, because like right away, you get that feeling, you already get that Scream 90s feeling. It kicks in, you get the idea what they're gonna do with the soundtrack. They already started with like while Maya Hawke, her character Hannah's working in the mall, she's playing Nine Inch Nails Closer, and I'm already geeking out. Like, this is great. Sorry, that's a little loud.
No, you're good.
Squealy, and so just the setup alone with her working and then talking with one of her friends, like I'm trying to say too much to the scene, but like the bookstore was great because that's like their version of a Walden Books, which we don't have anymore. Her friend Ryan worked at like I don't remember the name of that store. It reminded me of Spencer's. I don't know if that exists anymore, especially after the pandemic.
No, Spencer's. So, there are still a few. You can still find the Spencer's gifts.
Yeah. So that was cool. I was like, well, look at this. This is like our mall days, kind of seeing these two stores and these two characters. And then of course it plays out very similar to Scream when she is being stalked by the killer in the mall, and even everybody's talking about it. They show that scene, actually a sneak peek. She does get killed, and it's very Scream-ish, and it's very well done, very violent, and then a little bit of a surprise in one part. I want to say.
The opening scene in general, I think might have been my favorite part of this whole movie, and I'll say it right away. Yeah, I will be honest up front a little bit. The rest of this movie, I don't think held up to what this first 5 minutes sets up. Like the first 5 minutes, fucking punches you in the face with nostalgia, punches you in the face with fucking like good editing. Really well done lighting. The scenery looks amazing. They did a great set piece. It really fucking feels like a 1990s mall. If you go to a mall right now, they don't feel the same. There's something off about them. Back then, they were replaced.
Feels like Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah, like people kids don't just go to the mall and hang out anymore. If you go there anytime now, it's not like it was when we were younger. Like we had nothing to do. Let's go to the mall and hang out. Let's go walk around and fucking go through Spencer's or wherever it is. And like this sets that up really well, and I liked how good of a job they did making you feel like this was the 90s. Like the kids were in the right attire and clothing. And I mean, I'm a fucking Nine Inch Nails mark. So like if you start a movie off with Nine Inch Nails, like any song, I'm going to be into it. And then we're going to get into more of the soundtrack as we go, because that's the one thing I pulled up. I didn't take crazy notes. I wanted to talk about the mood, and I wanted to talk about the soundtrack. Like some of the songs that popped up, I was like, oh shit, there's some fucking kind of deep cuts that you don't hear often, So I was impressed to hear certain things, and some stuff I didn't know as well, but it was still cool to hear. and that as it goes, the opening scene's amazing. It really does. It's got that Scream feel. Like the first time you watched Scream, you were like, "Wait, Drew Barrymore's fucking dead already?" Like they advertised her like she was the main star of the movie. You know, like
Mm-hmm.
how's that possible? You know what I mean? It didn't even like your brain almost didn't know how to comprehend that.
It
Like,
was
wait,
it was really pretty too, with the lighting and everything.
Mm-hmm.
This scene, right? I'll be honest.
Really
the rest
pretty.
of the movie, I do have some issues with the way they shot this movie because, and maybe this is old man brain coming out, and we'll get into that when we kind of do our tie up. But I do have some issues with the way this was shot and edited. I don't.
Right.
It feels like a music video to me. Like it kind of feels like the same issue I have with Suicide
Rob
Squad.
Zombie's like that too. Oh, Suicide
Well,
Squad's very music video.
Well, Suicide Squad is
like
bad.
real.
There's a big difference.
Yeah.
I'm not saying whether this is or it's not yet.
No.
Because we haven't gotten to the point yet, Ben. I'm not going to give that up yet, Ben. I will say a lot of the reason why I don't care for Suicide Squad, this movie does, and I don't like how like bright and in your like I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Like I feel like with how good of a I'll be honest right away with how good of a job they did setting up that first scene. It like the first scene is even a little bit slower and it's not as like fast cut and it's like a little bit more of like a wide shot and you can kind of see what's going on and then when you see the killer coming at her like it's just everything looked really nice and then as soon as that stops it's like bang 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 like flash cuts and fucking quick things moving like and I don't know it kind of like it man I don't know it was like a sugar rush going down like all of a sudden you're like oh I really
Maybe that's why I liked it. This is like me on caffeine in the 90s.
Mhm.
yeah no it was. This reminded me of like a bottle of Surge like you love it it tastes like
Oh,
you love the energy that it gives
Now
you.
I-
It tastes
now I like
shit, but it's
Oh
fun
my
to do.
God.
now I love this movie because I love Surge.
Amount of Surge that I drank at 15 years old. Like that was like I wasn't allowed to have coffee, so I drank Surge.
Yeah, which
And I
was
was
way
like,
worse.
Way
Which was
fucking so
way
much
worse
worse than
for
coffee.
you.
Holy shit.
But
Yeah.
I still drink coffee
Alright,
here and there.
so
It
this
wasn't-
is-
No, but it's funny the way our parents thought back then. Like,
yeah.
hey, yeah, coffee's bad for you because adults.
But
drink
have
it.
soda.
Here, have this fucking bottle of Surge. That's gonna make you mental.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Have
Like,
fun,
or-
kiddos.
Or like, remember like your parent, like my mom for some reason wouldn't let me drink Jolt Cola. Like, oh no, that's too
Oh,
much
that's
caffeine.
another one.
Go have a Mountain Dew.
Bitch, that's so much worse.
The only difference is one of the bottles said that it had more caffeine
Yeah.
in it. They
Oh,
weren't allowed
man.
to tell you how much was in each thing. Mountain Dew had almost the same amount of caffeine in it. But yeah, go drink as much of that as
I
you
didn't
want.
need to be a drug addict in a teenager. I was a Surge addict. That's bad enough.
That
Well,
pretty much
and
is a drug.
Realistically, right. Some
Let's see
countries,
these drugs. That's the
some
whole point.
countries, caffeine is classified as bad as cocaine. It's because it's just as addictive. So,
Hell
They
yeah,
did put
but not
coke-
as fun
They
though.
did put cocaine in Coke in the old days. So.
well, that's
Alright,
how
so
it got out. Yeah.
This is where I
Alright.
so Ed mentions nostalgia and Joe mentions nostalgia. This is where I thankfully get to say I fucking hate 90s nostalgia. I can't stand it. I've been waiting to say this for so fucking long. I'm so happy I finally have a platform where I can go to the rooftops and scream, I don't get 90s nostalgia. I was born in the 90s. I fucking hate it. I hate the 90s. It sucks.
Well,
Almost all the music
that
is bad. All the horror movies are bad.
Whoa.
Deal with it. Deal with it. I fucking said it. I don't care for most of the grunge music out there.
Rewind that.
Speaking
for a
of
second.
Coke,
Nope.
what cocaine? What's
Hold
in
on.
this coffee this morning?
You
Let's
can keep
let's hit
it.
the brakes there, big fella.
Mm-mm.
First and foremost, some of the movies were ass, but like not all of them.
He liked the cemetery too. I think he's full of shit.
Yeah,
This is a
but the
great era for
movie's
movies,
good.
dog. The movie that's on your shirt, hate to tell you, 90s.
90s.
Fucking
because it was in the medieval times, though.
Yeah, it was in the medieval times, so that bypasses
Yeah,
everything you
it's
just said.
90s. Scream, 90s. Fucking half
I know
the
you did
fucking
summer.
half the good fucking
I know what I
Freddy's
said.
dead. Freddy's dead. 1991, I think, right?
Yep.
1990.
90
Jason
yeah,
Goes to
91,
Hell.
right.
Terrible movie, but it sets up.
Event
fucking
Horizon.
We
Freddy
all
versus
know.
Jason.
We all
Event
know.
Horizon.
Freddy 3.
Hold on,
Nightmare 3 is the
hold on.
best one.
No, I'm not done, motherfucker.
But Freddy's Dead is my favorite.
Hold on. In the Mouth of
Sherman ran right
Madness.
at the beginning
Hold on.
of the
In
show.
the
I
Mouth
love
of
it.
Madness. In the Mouth of Madness is one of the
Did
best
that,
horror
but
movies
you
of
can
all
say it
time.
again. I don't give a shit.
Event
thank
Horizon
you.
is another one of my favorites, which that came out in the 90s.
Copycat. Fucking fantastic.
Was
Oh,
Candyman in the
dude.
90s?
Candyman
Fuck,
was
yes,
the
it
90s.
was.
you
Was
fucking
Wishmaster
dickhead.
in the 90s?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, so
going.
horror movies have some good
Keep
stuff
going,
in
you
it.
stupid bitch.
Bride of Chucky, I really like.
'90s.
Fucking almost all the fucking Child's Play movies were
I
the
mean,
90s.
'90s slasher
I
was
think
out of control.
3, all the fucking I see my coffee's kicking. You stupid bitch.
The Crow.
The Crow was
The fucking
Oh
amazing.
fuck,
Crow?
The Crow was in the 90s, huh?
Fucking Strangeland. Strangeland was in the 90s.
Ooh.
All right, 90s were.
Fucking
All right, so
hold on,
90s were pretty cool for horror then.
I'm not done. Brain scan.
Yep. We will be talking about that.
Good.
Shut your
Good.
stupid whore mouth.
I'm glad I said
you little
something
bitch.
that invoked the madness
Return of
today.
the Living Dead 3. Where's my 3? 3.
Thank you.
Cool. I've never seen
I'll
it.
keep
And
going.
Amazing.
all right, so yeah,
Dr. fucking Giggles. Dr.
Gigs?
fucking Giggles.
yeah, the 90s can keep Dr. Giggles. It's fine.
Eat a dick. Darkman. Darkman's
good
fucking
stuff.
dope.
Yeah, the
We
first
watched
one.
that,
Take the pink
last
fucking
night.
elephant! I want the pink elephant!
So good.
Give me the bloody pink elephant! That's the only thing I remember from that fucking movie. Anyway, I've always said it. I'm just
Oh, my coffee brewed. Hang on.
yeah, the coffee brewed. I'm not the biggest I just don't get it. That's always what I'll say. I just
Hold on, real quick. There's two different arguments there. So we just already destroyed you on the fact that 90s movies had some fucking amazing movies. We didn't even get into action. We didn't get into Terminator 2. We didn't get into fucking half the other amazing movies that came out.
mhm.
Oh, Wayne's World. I mean, every other fucking awesome movie.
But if you think about
hold on,
cool.
hold on. The music, the 90s from 1990 to 1999
Mhm.
was the most eclectic and most widespan era of music of all time. It was the most inspired generation of decade of music.
Cool, and
in the
it all
history of
sounds like
Shit, man.
one.
Well, there's a lot of that.
No, there's a lot of that.
Is
Hold on.
one.
There's a lot of that
Ready?
SDP Creed thing going on.
But hold on.
Bush.
Who's
Which
saying
I
that's
still
wrong?
like Bush.
Nirvana, one of the biggest bands of all time. Love them, hate
Yep.
them, amazing. Fucking started a whole revolution of fucking
Alice in
bands.
Chains.
Pearl Jam's amazing. Alice in Chains, amazing. Stone Temple Pilots, amazing. Dude, that's when all these bands blew
Foo
up. Half
Fighters.
those bands started in the 80s. Foo Fighters, fuck them. Fuck Dave Grohl.
All right, yeah,
Okay,
all right,
he's a
never mind.
stupid
I'm
dick.
going. You lost me. I'm going ahead. You're done. You're done now.
Let me throw real quick.
Hold on.
Halloween 6, maybe not the greatest Halloween movie, but still had a
The
great
fuck
90s
is this?
soundtrack.
Dickhead talking about Halloween. All right, you all lost me. I'm gonna keep going. I'm saying my point. Shut up.
Hold on. Where I was going with that is, look at we're not good. I don't. This isn't a dissertation of how amazing the music was or how amazing the movies were. But there are a lot of amazing movies and a lot of amazing bands. White Zombie came out. That's in this in here. Nine Inch Nails, amazing. Fucking Marilyn Manson really blew up in that time, that era. That was amazing. Half the like good metal bands that we love. Pantera blew up in the mid '90s, or all that whole era type of negative came out of the '90s. Like the
Machine
'90s,
Head.
Cool, Machine Head. Fuck man, Thursday.
All right, so
every time I die,
this
technically
is.
started in the 90s.
I'm gonna.
A lot of
I
bands
gotta
started
keep-
in the '90s.
I gotta
But what
keep
I'm
this
getting-
going
you
because
broke your
I
brother,
broke
dude.
Ed.
You
Hold on.
broke him so bad.
The more people talk over me, the more I'm going to keep going. Here's what I'm trying to get at. To say that the music and the movies were ass and that you hate the nostalgia, the popularity of the nostalgia are two separate things.
Flexing on purpose.
So
Cool. I still hate the
that's not how
'90s.
it's
No
done.
matter what you
No, but-
say, I can acknowledge what you're saying.
But you love most of the things that come out. All right, fucking Nightmare Before Christmas, man. You hate that? That's your favorite thing ever. That came out in the '90s.
It was
my
supposed to
point?
come
So,
out in
like-
the '80s, but you're fine,
But
I
it
guess.
doesn't. The point is, hold on. I have the same issue with what you're saying with people that overhype '80s nostalgia. The people that are like, oh, I fucking love Back to the Future and I love this, and I'm like,
You're not a
shut the fuck
'90s
up, I
kid.
get
You
it.
don't get it. There's so much more stigmata to the.
No, but we can say the same thing. The people that say that they love the '80s didn't actually grow up in the '80s. They grew up in the fucking '90s.
Yeah.
But they want to, because they were born in the '80s.
I still don't
wanna say
like
that they grew
most
up in-
things from the '90s.
Motherfucker,
That's
if
fine.
if you were born in 84, 85, 86, even 83, you can't say that you actually vividly remember growing up in the fucking '80s. You're full of shit. You might kind of remember some things, but you can't actually say that you loved all that stuff. You loved the '90s.
I was gonna
Because-
compliment the movie for a '90s thing. That's what I was going with.
Where your generation goes, your generation is the 2000s, because you grew up in that time. You remember fucking Freddy versus Jason being amazing. Like I remember Freddy's Dead being amazing, because that's when I kind of grew up. So see what I'm saying? So like, I get the idea of like, oh, I hate the hype that the
I
nostalgia
can't
gets
stand
because
the
people
'90s.
my
I hate the
age
idea
don't
of
get
it. Janko pants
Motherfucker.
and fucking fishnet wearing
I mean,
assholes.
we hate Janko pants too, so.
I had a couple pairs.
Yeah, I was
It's a
about to say,
basic
Ed
boy.
can't say that because he had Jenko pants. I've seen him wear them.
That's why.
And he wore
That's
fishnets
why.
all the time.
Look,
I
Ed
did.
was straight up. I mean, Ed had the straight up Jenko and the goth
I-
going.
I
that,
did it all.
Did.
I
He
was,
was
that. I was that preppy
goth
kid,
daddy.
even though I didn't skate.
All right,
Goth
long
daddy.
story short, we just went on a 10-minute rant about
You
the
went
Oh,
on
that
a
was
10-minute
awesome.
rant. Anyway, dickhead.
It was
Joe
Anyway,
was in there too.
no matter
Well,
what
man,
you
in there
say,
too.
I can.
One of the reason I wanted to do this movie because of this. This is great. So
I will continue. No matter, like, I will take Ed's points. I will take them at heart. You know,
you're
and
both right. to
they're
some
both right.
degree,
I
so.
just don't. I don't get it. I like whenever people are like teehee 90s.
Mediator.
I just don't. I don't
Well,
like it. Like,
Now again, I say all this because I love these fun rants with me and Ben and I know Joe eats this shit up because he also has a brother.
well, because
that
this
can
is
go
what
back and forth.
Ed and I
Oh,
just
we
do
go
anyway.
It was so bad.
Fine, 100%. Me calling Ben a stupid 80s and 90s bitch. That's me just busting his balls.
Yeah.
And also that's a play off of fucking that's kind of me stealing It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia thing. But
Well,
anyway,
like,
Nice.
it's just tough because like I say I hate 90s, but then you know in my hand I have some of the best 90s material out there. You have fucking Symphony of the Night, Castlevania Chronicles, Final Fantasy 9, 8.
all the fucking video
Literally
games
one of the
we love
best
from the
video
90s.
games ever created with Final Fantasy 7, but there's so much material out there for me to just be like, man, I fucking hate the 90s, but goddamn do I love me some Castlevania. Anyway, which reminds me,
Anyways.
the reason why I bring up Castlevania is because
Ooh,
my
good
favorite
segue.
part of the movie is when the brother is sitting in the basement listening to White Zombie playing Castlevania Bloodlines,
On
which is
Sega.
awesome. I can't believe they actually got that right. It was Castlevania Bloodlines, and they were playing it on a Sega Genesis. Most of the time, movie producers and movie makers, they don't fucking care. But like that one quick fucking snippet they actually played, he played as the female Lance chick, and I was like, holy shit, what a deep cut. And that's one of my favorite games ever made. So that blew my. So you were about to say you were standing up for the 90s. I was starting off by saying I can't stand it, but they got it so right that even people like me who cannot fucking stand 90s nostalgia, they still got me on something.
It still got me.
Castle fucking
it was cool.
Vania.
Was the brother Josh? Every time he got nervous, he kept doing the Sega Genesis code in his head. I love that.
Well,
he just kept up, down, A, B. I was
Excuse
dying.
you, it's the
I love that.
Konami code that started in the 80s with
It did
Contra.
start in the 80s, yes.
So,
But
Fortnite dab.
it carried over a
That,
generation.
besides the point. Also, that scene, which was one of my favorite scenes, not because of Castlevania, because I never played that game, so I don't know shit about it. But White Zombies, More Human Than Human, and Astro Creep 2000 is
That
one of my
brought back
favorite
playing
albums.
Monopoly. Listening
That's one of
to
my
that album.
fucking favorite albums of all time.
Yep.
In my opinion, I would put that in my top 10 favorite albums of inspirational albums of all time. I bought that.
Yep.
I bought that on tape when it came out. I bought that in 1995 when it came out and was released on fucking cassette. I was 11 years old when that album came
Yeah,
out.
I'm surprised they didn't play Manson at all. Well, probably because the whole. Yeah,
No, that all happened way after this movie was made. Like movies, that was only a couple months ago when all that bullshit happened with him. But it's just they already played so many other things. You can't play. You're not going to make an entire movie out of it. They played the Pixies. They played fucking.
Oh my god.
They played Prodigy, which is awesome.
Soundgarden,
Firestarter.
Prodigy,
Soundgarden.
holy shit.
Yep, they played Garbage. Like they played a lot of.
Bush.
See,
I love that when Garbage kicked in while
now,
Dina was writing a little hate
the
letter
one-
to. Oh, sorry,
one
go ahead.
issue I have here, really quick. The one issue I have here, when I look at it, ready have been just, and I'll kind of counter. Even though I loved all this stuff,
Yeah.
I could be wrong, but the list that I'm looking at right now, here's where they did get it wrong, though. So as far as I remember, and I could be wrong, so Ben might want to look this up real quick too.
Yeah.
I believe White Zombie: The Astro Creep 2000 came out in 1995, and this movie's supposed to be.
I was thinking the same thing.
1994.
Hold on. That's so funny you mentioned that.
Realistically,
I think it was 94. But we listed
What
it in 95. We listed it in 95.
but. Or what about Garbage? The album that had.
That was not. That was.
All right, so
that was right.
We're clearly talking about Astro
look 'em up.
Creep. We're talking about Astro Creep 2000 with More Human Than
Right.
Human. The actual
Right.
release date, April 11th, 95.
So they got it wrong.
But
They got it wrong.
wait,
Look up Garbage.
when was the song? When was More Human Than Human
Doesn't matter.
Oh, yeah, it
didn't
was still
do stuff
released
like
in
that back then.
'95. I was thinking like as a single. I don't know if he was like maybe he ripped it from
No.
the radio
Maybe.
or something. But
No,
no,
it
he-
wasn't- it
he
wasn't
didn't.
like that back then.
No, it
That's
still.
good.
I just looked it up.
Yeah, but
It-
if this is supposed to be in 1994 and then this album didn't come out until 1995, they got that wrong. Which is whatever. People aren't going to think about that because they just go, "Oh, I remember that song from 1990s." You know,
I
and that's
dead
what
ass
it
was
is.
thinking. I was like, I'm
They fucked
fairly
that up.
certain Astro Creep came. I thought it came out in '96, but
No, Maryland. That
shows how
came out
much I
95.
love the '90s,
Manson,
right?
Manson came out in 96, late 96, and it blew up in 97.
Well, I thought It Tastes Like
Yeah.
Children came out in.
It Smells Like Children came
Oh,
out in
Smells Like.
94.
I'm sorry. Smells Like
Oh, no,
Children.
95. That came out in 95, and Portrait of American Family.
Portrait of American Family came out in like what, 96, 97?
No, 93. Antichrist.
Oh,
came out in
I'm
96.
thinking of
So-
Antichrist. I'm sorry. Holy
So,
shit,
I
everything's
didn't
twisted
know
for me.
when the single came out, but it was recorded in '94. So
That
who knows?
doesn't
They
mean
could-
anything.
Yeah, but
they could-
recorded
they
doesn't
could
mean
do-
shit.
They could do the single late because this is in October
Nah.
'94. They could have done the single. They
They
did a
didn't do
single
stuff like that back then.
6 months. Yeah, they did. I remember they did. Like
Is that-
Offspring.
Anyway,
going away.
that's such a deep cut.
Joe's
I'm
holding
reaching.
on to that. Joe's
I'm
holding on to
reaching.
that so hard. All right, what about
I'm
garbage?
reaching.
Look up garbage.
Okay,
I'm only having
I'm
one
reaching. I'm gonna stick with that.
Why? I'm already
think
looking
he's
at
gonna
you.
record-
You're thinking of music nowadays where somebody will drop a single like almost a year before they'll release something. Shit, man, fucking every time I die wrote an album 2 years ago and are holding on to it because of the pandemic year because if they're
True.
a touring band, if they can't tour on it, they're not gonna make any money. So they've been sitting on it for almost 2 years.
So I remember
Strange
hearing.
thing.
I remember hearing Garbage. I'm only happy it rains in '94, but the album came out in '95. I think I'm
See,
right
but-
about that.
So, but you can't. But you're reaching for something.
I'm not
making up
reaching.
a memory. You're making a memory up in your head.
Nope, I definitely
You're-
not. 'Cause I remember.
I don't know, brother. I'm fucking. I think
Yep,
you're losing
it
me. on this
was
one.
it was '94 in the bus in the fall of '94. I was listening to Garbage.
All right,
And then
ready?
the album came out. So I think I'm right about this.
I think you're wrong. But what about Prodigy? Firestarter. Pretty sure that's 96.
You might be right about that. So yeah. So here's again. They did.
What I'm
I
saying
think
is
recorded in '94. So
see,
Maybe they just took it from that. I don't know.
I'm just saying, if we're gonna go, hey, pedestal, they got it right with Castlevania, but they fucked up with the soundtrack. As
Yeah, because
awesome
I
as
just
is
looked
to
it up
hear
and
those songs-
Bloodlines came out in '94.
Yeah, so I'm just saying, like, it's close. It's really nitpicky, but you're talking to a music guy. I have a whole
Yeah, because
podcast
like they
about music, so,
easily,
like,
I think they easily could have put down. Hold on,
I'm not complaining about it though. I don't want to make
no,
this
you
the whole
still got a
show.
good point because this shit drives me nuts when they do that. But I'm gonna reach and say they were doing the single thing. Because they do the whole mixtape thing that we loved when we were kids. So and then we used to do that. We used to tape off of the radio, and I
No, we
think
did.
that's yeah.
We did, correct, and I agree with that. But the thing is
I don't want
singles weren't released like that back then. They weren't released 6
No.
months before an album
remember.
dropped.
I remember they were. I do
It was
remember that.
no way. Not like it was. The time was different. They had because there was so much music and there was so much substance at the time. Big, they would release like if it was a fucking band like Guns N' Roses, they might do something like that. But like a band like an up and coming band, they would release it way closer to when the album came out. Nowadays, it's a little bit different because some people
So
only.
I'm
put
gonna
out
stick with
singles.
it. And what we're going to do, we're going to
You can do that.
when we go to the next episode, episode, we'll do more googling before this. We're not doing the show, and then we'll get the exact because we have to dive deep on that one, how they did that stuff. Because we are both going by memory of when we're like 14, 15 years old.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, again, just so you understand though too, until I looked it up in my brain, like even though I know that album like the back of my head, I would never even would have thought about like questioning. Oh, White Zombie in '94, like. I don't care either. That's the thing. I want that point to be.
I remember us listening to it in '95, so I almost thought that too. I'm like, oh, that's when we listened to it.
I don't give a fuck when it came out because I love the fact that it's in the movie.
Yeah,
so it's a
yeah,
movie
yeah.
about the '90s. That's fine with me. Like I don't care. But like I'm just simply saying, if we're gonna give them one thing, like you gotta kind of always go. Like here's a great example, real quick, just small little note. There's a movie that came out called The Tomorrow War. That's on Chris Pratt. It's on Amazon. I just watched it. It's actually very entertaining. I thought I was gonna hate it. I actually really liked it. But there was one continuity issue where like he's talking to somebody, Chris Pratt's talking to somebody, and he's standing in front, like, and when the camera's on him, he's standing like both hands to his side, and he's looking at the person all serious because they're in the middle of a war. And then when it pans to look at the person he's talking to, it shows like a weird side angle of Chris Pratt's like side, and it's his hand is in his pocket from the side angle, right? And it's clear as day, like it's fucking half of it's literally like looking like this, like right here, and then seeing somebody in front of me. And then when it pans back to Chris Pratt, it's like him standing with both of his hands to his side, like trying to look tough. And then it pans back quick to the other guy, and his fucking hand is even further in his pocket. Meaning, like, you guys fucked up. You shot two different things. There are people on movie sets that are supposed to watch that kind of thing. Like if somebody wears the wrong shirt in a scene, or
like
if it's the wrong
if there's
haircut because
Starbucks coffee cups in Game of Thrones.
Yeah, well, right. There are people that can pay a lot of money. It was. There are people that get paid a lot of money to stop those continuity issues because it can take you out.
I had so many
movie.
fun fan theories that one, alternate dimensions and dimension misplacement.
So with that, I just wanted to bring that up because that's a good example of what I'm talking about with like continuity issues. Sometimes if you're a movie fucking nerd, it can take you out of it. It didn't do that with this one. We spent way too much time on that one, but
well, we got through the soundtrack part at least, you know.
Yeah. So let's guess
now the movie part.
Now the actual part of the movie. Well, the soundtrack was a big part of it. I thought the most redeeming thing for me was the fact that it felt like the 90s. Didn't matter what year they came out, realistically, because it was just a 90s feeling movie. So that's all I give a shit about. That beside the point. Then it kind of kicks in and it shows you like the lead character. I don't know any of their names. I'm just gonna be honest.
Dina's the lead character.
I know Dina and Sam. That's it. I couldn't care less about the other ones.
Sam was the blonde girl. What was the other girl that sold the drugs? It shows.
That was Katie and Simon.
Katie and Simon.
No, I had to remember them because I love all the characters, so I had to definitely like remember the names and stuff. I had to for this one.
I mean, it kicks off with Dina, right? Dina going to like she's like a cheerleader or something, going to a fucking football game.
No, Dina's in the band. She plays percussion for the band.
Yeah.
And Sam is in it. Sam's a cheerleader.
Yeah, so you get this whole thing with like you get to see Dina. You see relationship. You obviously there's a relationship issue. The way she's writing a little note, and then you get to see her brother, who is also like you get to see AOL in the internet, and he's a big conspiracy and law freak, which I love that about him. And I didn't get to use the internet until 1998, so he's using it in 94.
Well,
94. That was awesome.
That was one thing that right away I was like, I don't remember. Like I never had a computer until I was fucking. Like,
it was out for a few years.
20.
I wasn't allowed to use it, so I wasn't allowed to use it until I was out of high school.
I didn't remember there being chat groups like that in 94.
Yeah.
I mean, I also didn't have a computer and knew anybody that had one. I was poor, so I had no idea. So I didn't know, but that took me out of it a little bit. I was like, I questioned that right away. I was like, I don't fucking know that.
I remember hearing about those few years, and then I didn't get one till later because like my parents are bigger than that. You don't get this to a certain age, yada 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 type of thing.
I just was poor. I'll just be honest. That's what I was poor as fuck.
Well, and it's interesting you threw that out there because there's a lot about that in this movie, like because like with like the challenges of like certain areas and whatnot.
Yeah.
And I just want because I'm gonna run right into that actually. So and then like with Dina. And
I like going into that. I like the fact that if maybe this wasn't where you were going, but I think this is what you were trying to say is like the class division. Like it does a good job of showing what it's like to be from one part of the town when you have to go against like I was that kid. I went to a high school that had both. I went to a high school that has one of the richest areas in Rhode Island.
Same here.
One of the poorest areas in Rhode Island. And I was literally like right in the middle as far as where I grew up.
I didn't know that. I'm glad you're saying that.
Yeah, I gravitated towards the kids in the fucking poor side, like Arctic and Natick and all those kids like near the West Warwick line. But like we have kids from like fucking Major Potter Road, which are like $1 million houses and shit back in the 90s. Now they're fucking even more expensive. But like that's all like Love Lane area, East Greenwich. So like the closer you are to East Greenwich, the more expensive or rich you are. The closer you are to West Warwick, the less rich you are. And then I was literally right in the middle. I grew up in the most middle classes, and now my area gone. The airport took it away.
Yeah.
Meaning, it's a great fucking not to be like that, but it's a great. A lot of people say the classes are getting separated more and more. Literally, the middle class is getting purged out. Well, it literally has in Warwick, Rhode Island, because the whole neighborhood I grew up in, we're like Winslow with the baseball field, that's gone.
That's wild.
They got rid of the whole thing. So.
And that's one of those like that's it's so interesting when those things happen. So even in the cities where you got certain areas of cities that are getting better, but they're pushing things that separate.
Joe, you grew up on the Cranston East Side where your neighborhood wasn't bad, but that area wasn't great.
What's getting that right now then because you get this point where we talk about Dina and then we introduce Katie and Simon and the whole group. So now we're moving forward where it's like you see the tension about God,
I fucking hated Simon.
I love Simon.
Sucked.
You see this tension with the relationship. You see the superstition hitting the school after the murder of the male, the murder of the mall. I said male. So they play that so well into the
that poor male that got murdered.
Into the Yeah, that poor male.
That one poor
So
male.
it really plays into the aspects of this town, the school, which I love that because that's so '90s too. With movies like that, it always played, how a murder affects people, and then the superstition, the lore, the true crime stuff. All of it's in there. The conspiracy. It's all
And
like
they get into it quick too.
and and yeah,
Very
right.
fast.
So then when they get her to stay in the band. Well, no, not to stay in the band. She actually can't quit. Somebody, I forgot what that was. And then so we get to when they're going to the game to give respect to Hannah and Ryan, who got killed. This is where you start seeing the two sides. You got Shady Side and Sunnyvale, and Shady Side is pretty much Cranston East.
Yeah.
To me, like it had those
So you're
areas
right.
where it's like that, like
Cranston West was the Whitesville.
was the
whatever fuck
preppy.
it's
I mean,
called.
like you had
Yeah.
like with Cranston East, the houses almost like on top of each other. We barely had lawns, and
Mhm.
then you have other areas that are worse. And then
Well,
when
yeah,
you go to
where you
West
live,
was Votech.
where you live, the closer you got to Providence, the more like Providence it got, and the
Exactly
further
right.
away. When you go to Cranston West, it's almost Situate, so it's farmland.
There's
Like
so much green,
it's way different.
and
Yeah,
the school is huge. And like even though East has gotten bigger, it still to me looks like a jail.
it does. No, it does.
It still does to this day. It looks better than when I
And
went there.
some of the people there probably feel like they belong in the jail.
Well, that's interesting.
another-
And that's interesting because the JOTC program is for troubled kids.
Mhm.
And then you either did that or you joined Votech if you were able to, because there's also poor kids.
Or you
in
die.
I had a couple of friends, shady siders. The shady siders just die. So I related to this. I didn't join a band. I stay away from all that bullshit. Actually, I seen this type of shit happen between those type of fractions and groups. I was like, nope, no, thank you. But I still related to Dina and Sam and Josh and all those kids because they were still like those dorky, nerdy, grungy rockers in some aspect, So that whole thing, and then I thought it was cool how you discover Sam and Dina's relationship more, and then not only that, like it was weird. I like the editing that part when there's a big fight because it really shows how boiling this like classism, this lore, and everything's just all about to explode. Where the people not.
I liked all that. I wanted to love all that. I hated the editing in that part. That right away took me out. I hated how fucking quick and flashy it was, and I hated when Sam and what's her face would meet up, and it's like I didn't like that at all. That took me. That took me fucking right out.
I love that. Yeah,
See, I
get that.
I actually liked it.
Like that.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah.
That's weird. I like that part a lot. Like I said, I just hate.
I get what it's setting up. I didn't mind what it was trying to set up. I didn't mind like the the war between the two and how they're supposed to be showing like a sign of solidarity.
I feel like it was forced a bit
and all that shit. It
bit.
was forced, but that's not what I just didn't like I didn't like the editing choice. It's not that I didn't like the forced part or anything like that.
Is that like a fucking Michael Bay movie?
I did, yeah.
With
that's
all, like,
right.
quick
That's
cuts
what I'm
and
saying.
shit.
The pace does make you feel like a Michael Bay movie.
It was so fucking like I just like holy shit, man. All right, like
he's 10 times worse in this movie. He's ADD all the way. That dude, his stuff is like.
Yeah. But that's kind of like I'm not saying like there are movies like that are good too that I don't mind. But like this one, man, it's just I don't know, something about the way they shot. Know what this reminded me of? Not saying, speaking of Scream, I tried getting into the MTV Scream show, and this felt just like that. And that's what I didn't like.
I didn't like that show at all, man.
I like the Scream shows. I like them a lot. But
I couldn't get into it.
Same here.
Because of the way it shot it.
Same pace,
It's too fucking bright, and it's too like. I have a problem with a lot of the Netflix shows because of the way they're shot.
Mhm.
There's something about it. It just looks like if you watch an old movie that was filmed on like film, it looks.
It is polished.
Real to me.
Polished.
You know what I mean? There's something about this that just feels fucking fake to me. Like it just takes you out of it. Like I feel like they should have made it a little more grainy. Like if you're gonna do a nostalgia movie, make it feel like the way those movies were shot. If you watch Scream, like the actual movie compared to this, it looks and feels different. Like it feels. Like
I get that. Summer of '84 is actually like that. Summer '84 is pretty great.
And to Ed's point too, it's like if you're gonna make like a nostalgia thing like that, at least do something like I feel like Stranger Things kind of nails it a little bit better for me.
I think
they do, but they still go a little crazy with the colors too, though.
Yeah,
they do, but there's.
But it makes sense because it was the '80s, so I don't know.
Well, I don't have a problem with the way I actually think that show's shot pretty much perfectly because it's modern enough looking to keep people that are around nowadays to watch it. but it's got enough grit and it's got enough nostalgia in it to keep people like us entertained. So I feel like that is the perfect example of how to do
Yeah.
it. This movie went too towards like the music video.
Now I'm gonna say
realm.
I love the look of this movie, but it is over exaggerated. I agree, but
Yeah.
I like the over exaggeration. But that's me. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's
And it just plays to certain people.
opinions
Not even certain
there's
people.
no such
But
thing as a bad opinion as far as when it comes to the way you are appealed to things, right? Like
Yep.
whatever catches
Yep.
your eye. Same thing with music. Like I can try to show you 5 bands you might not into because it's not your thing. Doesn't mean that they're bad or that they're wrong. I mean, there
Exactly.
are bad. There are fucking
Subjective.
bad albums. Out
There
there.
are some.
I mean, all I'm saying is there's an album
We can
called
all
Saint.
agree. We all hate Nickelback.
Yeah, we can all. They have a song or two. I don't mind, but no, but yeah, I agree. They suck. But like I would still. Hey, I'll be honest. I'd rather listen to every fucking Nickelback album ever over fucking Metallica Saint Anger. That album is still the worst.
Ooh, I agree with that. Actually,
It's
true.
fucking
I
horrible.
agree.
But also 90s. I think they came out in 99. Could be wrong.
What?
No, 2003,
Saint Anger
2000.
2000.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
2000s.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was what
You know what it is?
Refuel.
It doesn't matter.
90s was the load era.
Yeah,
Or-
you're right. 97, 98.
Really? Yeah. Load.
Yep.
Sorry.
And Reload.
Load and Reload. And Reload fucking rips. I love that album.
Yeah,
A lot of
Reload-
people don't like it, but I think it's amazing.
I don't know, I like Load, but anyway,
Yeah. sure you do.
I love Load.
Ding.
All right. So, anyways, yeah. So I get Here's the thing. I loved a lot of what this movie was trying to do. So
Yeah.
maybe I should actually go back and read the book because I might really enjoy the book a lot. There were things that I wanted to love about this movie that kept me watching it, but then they would do things that drove me fucking crazy. Like I didn't like a lot of the editing, and I didn't like a lot of how like bright and polished this movie looked. I'll be honest, I didn't entirely love some of the actors that they chose.
Yep.
And I'm sure I'm gonna get pushback on this one. I couldn't stand the lead actress, whatever Dina. She irritated
like her?
the shit out of no, not at all, not even a little bit.
Yeah.
There were a couple scenes where I thought she was right, but she overacted a ton. And then I also, Ben knows this, I have a weird problem with like lisps. Like even though I kind of have one, like I have a weird thing about when people like musicians or actors or people like mouths, like if people move their mouth weird, like I can't, Alicia Silverstone, I can't fucking stand her because her mouth, when she acts, her mouth
That's
is
interesting.
like this. I fucking hate.
Why do you
I can't
hate
even
Sean
watch it.
Connery so much then?
No, I love him. I love Sean Connery. He's the fucking because he's the fucking man. That's why. But I can't stand Alicia Silverstone because I can't stand watching her talk. Like her
Right,
talking
right.
like it drives me fucking bananas. I can't even get past it. So like because of that, yet I love Drew Barrymore. Drew Barrymore talks like this, but I don't have a problem with it. It's something that like
She has
I don't know,
asshole
I don't
mouth.
know.
That's just what I don't like.
But this girl had like an underbite thing, and she would really emphasize certain
Yeah.
things that she said and
Yeah,
to try to
I
like
didn't
act
think
up.
she.
And
I
I
didn't
just
feel like she overacted, but I can see what you're saying though to some degree because a lot of these characters there's supposed to be a lot of teenage angst we can relate to.
which I get, yeah. And I was a
So
dumb
I
kid.
think
still am.
and I think there's a lot of parts you don't like any of the characters except for Josh. Josh is the coolest one of all of them, but they're all kind of assholes.
Josh is the little brother.
Yeah,
He was the most redeeming. I thought
he was
the most
rocking
redeeming part of the
he was
movie.
rocking White Zombie. He
Not just
was
because
like
he loved
And Iron
not just
Maiden's
because of his
shirts.
music choice,
Yeah.
but I thought I hate Iron Maiden, but
Yeah.
I can't stand him. I'm not a fan, but that doesn't matter. Good for him.
Run,
I
Run
thought
for
he
the
was
Hills is good.
I'm not a fan at all. I'm not I thought he was the most redeeming part of this movie. I thought he was the best at acting in general. I thought his character was the most believable. I felt the most because I was kind of a nerdy dude, even though I was big and mean looking. Like I had to become big and mean so like I wouldn't get picked on. So I had to transform myself. Ben was kind of like the nerdy dude playing video games and stuff. So even though I bust his balls, right still. But like I always had to like look out for Ben. Like Ben's my little brother. Like, and I never wanted to see him get picked on, even though I picked on him. Like that's the job of a brother. I'm gonna pick on you. But if I watched other people pick on him,
yeah.
I'd like scare the shit out of him purposely because I didn't want anybody picking on him. So like I get that dynamic and I like that about the movie. And I actually really grew to like Kate, whatever her name is. I thought I was gonna hate her because at first I didn't like
the
her
drug
character.
dealer.
Yeah, I didn't like her character at first when she was like on the bus talking shit and like we gotta go get them and we have to. Do,
I
like,
love that whole scene.
I hated that. That scene drove me nuts.
Yeah.
Here's why.
It's over exaggerated. I love the insanity of that over exaggeration. Yeah.
I didn't like the jockey dickhead dudes like chasing them.
Oh, Peter or whatever.
Oh, see, I love that scene too.
See, I didn't like it because I'm like, man, this. Here's what we're gonna set up. We're gonna set up fucking even more of a fight between these guys, which is whatever. I get that. That's a trope.
They utilize tropes
like,
a lot in this.
I didn't like the idea of like I don't know why I hated it so much.
I
but
feel like I didn't like it
them.
because like he reminded me too much. They did like I feel like they just cut out Flash Thompson from the first the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movie, and just plucked him as Peter in this movie, and it's like the same character.
You gonna put Scooby-Doo in there too?
No,
like with,
dickhead.
13 Ghosts?
No. See, that one will be memed forever.
Comic book kids.
That one will just be memed forever only because of that loser Shaggy is in that movie too. That I don't get why people like. Anyway, I don't want this to be a rant, goddammit. But
Anyway,
no, it wasn't
so-
a comparison. It's just they took like this boring fucking. They took they took Biff.
No, but he's a trope. Like there's that character.
He's such a boring bully trope that is.
Every teenage movie, like the faculty had a kid like that. And
Fucking Diary of a goddamn wimpy
that's a good
kid
movie, actually.
had Peter in this.
Well, I mean, those
No,
kids.
but that's not what I'm getting at. That's not the problem I had with it. I didn't like the scene with them, like them fucking. Here's where I have a problem with this. Okay, let's just break it down reality wise. And I get you're supposed to like let go of reality when you watch movies like this, but sometimes it drives me nuts. If you have a fucking car full of kids, teenagers, following and tailgating a bus and fucking,
Why would the bus driver
you're
do
gonna tell
something?
me that the bus driver doesn't stop and fucking call the cops
and do
Can
nothing?
I give you an example? Can I give you an example?
it drives me bananas.
When I was on the bus, I seen shit like this, and the bus driver did nothing. Now again, it's over
I
exaggerated.
get that. No, on a bus, kids fucking with each other. I'm a kid who I play football. I watched shenanigans happen on fucking buses.
Yep.
Bus drivers will turn the other way. If a fucking teenage kid, dude, is chasing and following a bus and fucking with a bus, and you see kids about to throw something on it, an alarm goes off. If you open the back. They're like in the 90s, you're gonna tell me like they were designed to do. There's.
I think it plays on. It plays off of Okay, go ahead.
Jeepers Creepers 2 uses a bus with a bunch of kids. That driver's in that movie and like and stops, and that's a perfect example of how you do it. You incorporate that. This like if you don't even show the bus driver in this, they never even show the person. You can tell me it's just a phantom person driving.
This is where I have no problem with the scene. This is why I'm able to suspend suspension. With what this movie did, this is with the parents too. You don't see the parents much. Your only mother you see is
you don't see the dad at all.
You don't see the dad at all. You just hear about them, and it integrates like what the Nightmare on Elm Street movies and a lot of YA does. It's and the same thing with it. Even it kind of does it. The book, all the movies, all of them. The bus driver is an example of somebody not giving a shit. Okay, these kids be doing stupid shit, whatever. And at some point, he's gonna pull
like the
over.
Charlie Brown effect.
I was just about to say Peanuts. God damn it! I was about to fucking bring up Peanuts, but you stole from me.
But I never thought.
Fucker.
You guys are. This is hilarious. So I actually agree with you what you're saying, but also at the same time, it's still worse because if you think about teenagers doing crazy shit, there are adults. It's like.
My thing was
there's shit we've seen people do a lot of weird shit.
You got the perspectives of
the worst than teenagers.
Yeah, you got the perspectives of the kids. So like the whole time you're getting the perspective of the kids, and realistically, it's their struggles, it's what they're dealing with.
Right.
So maybe all of that time, because you're seeing it through the eyes of the teenagers and how much they hate these kids, maybe that didn't take as long as what we thought it did. So it like they dragged it out a little bit in the bus.
And that goes with Ed's thing about the editing too. It does feel a little junk.
Yeah,
Oh, I'm sorry, I wasn't.
So
I'm with you. I wasn't enough.
No, you're fine. Like they kept referencing the parents, but you never see them. That's where I deadass actually thought of Peanuts, and like you're getting just a perspective of the kids. So things are gonna look different. It's not just wah. It's like you're getting the perspective of the kids instead, and so things are gonna be warped a little bit to what they're gonna think and how they interpret curses and everything like that. So I thought
I get where you guys are saying with that, and so the reason why I didn't rewatch the movie is because I was hoping you guys could help me fill in some gaps. Or I was hoping I knew Joe was going to defend this movie, so I'm glad I wanted to bring a counterpoint for once, because normally we're all about the same opinion lately.
Yeah. No, it's great because I knew those were I was watching. It's like, oh, these are going to be some good talking points going to pop up.
Yeah, and I had a lot of, and we're gonna go through them. I had a lot of issues with this movie. I'll just be honest.
Yeah.
If you haven't caught on already, I did, and I'm hoping you guys can maybe change my mind. I'm gonna rewatch it for the big ending thing when we go through the whole thing, and maybe some of those will get filled in. But I didn't. But the theory that you guys are saying, I get that, and I get what they're trying to do. But if that was the case, then you wouldn't see the cop as much, and you wouldn't see.
Well, you do, but you see him as a dickhead pig cop. You see him as
but he's not portrayed that way though. He's not portrayed as a dickhead pig cop.
Yes,
Kind of
yes,
is actually.
yeah, he
It's a little
is.
bit of both.
I
A
didn't
little
see
bit
him
of
as
both.
that. I thought he
Ooh.
was. I
Yeah.
thought because he was trying to like help them out. I didn't see that. At all.
No, they clearly
was a
show you that in the scene in the police station. They clearly
Yeah.
weren't trying to. The one that kills the guy, the murderer at the beginning. He clearly was not on their side at fucking all, because he kept hearing like when they're recapping everything at the hospital.
Which
He's
is just
basically
gonna
like,
go great with part two, actually.
yeah, like that type of shit. He was
Yeah.
clearly being an asshole the whole time, like just being like a pandering, just like dickhead.
I'll have to rewatch. I'll definitely
Yeah,
have to rewatch.
yeah,
this.
he
I didn't see
definitely
that.
But
was not on their
he
side.
still had those likable qualities of that type of like, I'm gonna come out of nowhere and save people. But then he was like, these other moments he was that dickhead cop.
Yeah.
These other moments like, oh, is he gonna help him? So they really played that pretty well, depending on your perspective on it. Because I was kind of like, where they going with this guy? And then
Yeah, like yes, at
No,
the
it-
end.
we also got 3 movies that are all going to connect.
The bus scene kind of goes into when we finally see a little bit of like the lore, where like it gets a little more
Yeah.
supernatural. And actually, out of all the stuff I didn't like about this scene, I didn't mind I liked this quick cut. I liked like when she
Yeah.
put her hands in the ground and you see like
Yeah.
the red. Like I didn't mind that at all. I thought that was
You know
actually
why?
pretty.
For some
pretty
reason,
cool
that reminded me. See,
That didn't
it's
bother
always
me at all.
comparisons. It's always like this, like quick, like these like
That was
Sam
very
Raimi
easily done.
supercuts. But it was
very
really.
easily
I thought it was a really good because like it went from like a contrast of blue to like this awesome fucking hue of red and like this bright red light. It was like quick flash in your face, and I thought that they utilized that really well. To a really good degree, and that's where I was gonna give them huge props. Was like all the witch parts. Whenever Sam's like, oh, I saw her again, and like when like right before she says I like in between I saw and her, bam, you see the witch super quick. And I've always liked stuff like that. These little subtle things that they don't mention themselves, but they see for the viewer, and I thought that was really cool.
Where does it go from there? It goes into when they're trying to figure it out. I think this is when it's like the next day, and then I think this is when you start seeing like essentially like the It Follows ghosts start showing up, right?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's a you get Dina and Josh are hanging out, and
Yep.
then they see the skull mask hanging out in the backyard. So she thinks, oh,
Yep.
it's a Sunny. I love it. She's like, goddamn Sunny Veils, and she gets a knife, which I'm like, holy shit, she already gets a knife right away. And so you get more of that town confrontation, and he disappears, and you cut Katie having the 2 girls that babysitting separate the
Bag
drugs.
of drugs. Yeah, I thought that was kind of funny.
Oh my god! And
I
love
didn't mind
Katie.
that.
I love Katie and Simon's chemistry.
See, I liked
stuff.
Katie a lot, and at this
Yeah.
point, I
Yep,
wasn't sold
same
on it
here.
yet. But Simon drove me fucking through the wall.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So,
That kid
I
irritated
could.
Yeah, I
couldn't
love
stand Simon.
I love his one-liners.
The
Remind
only
me of
part.
Randy from Scream.
The only part that I liked.
I get that, Joe. That's a
Yeah,
good comparison.
That's what happened with me. Yeah.
The only part that I liked with Simon was, and he's like, "Oh wait, did you all go to Pound Town?" And he's like, "Yes, so did I." And like, I was like, "All right, that's pretty funny."
That was great.
I thought that
That
was
was
a funny
funny.
one.
I like the end scene when he gave Josh like a little bit of a pep talk. I
Yeah,
actually thought that was
yeah.
pretty cool too.
Yeah, I got a kick out of Simon because like his humor reminded me a little bit of our like stupid humor here and there, and I like the fact he painted his fingernails because we did that as teenagers as those wannabe goth phases. It kind of reminded me of us a little bit with that.
What do you mean a phase? And I just hold up my hand. No, I'm just kidding. Wait, what?
So
I was
and
just
I mean,
gonna say
there's other
wannabe.
reasons why. There's other reasons why they have to do that too, which I thought was kind of cool.
No,
but
like again,
just- he
there
had
were
that like
things.
yeah.
He was one of those characters that I wanted to love because of the
Yeah.
Randy from Scream aspect,
Yeah.
and like you knew who he was. He was like he was the Jay and the Jay Muse out of the Silent Bob and Jay character.
Yep.
He
Yes,
was the druggy
yeah.
guy. He was,
Yep.
he was the fucking the Josh, what's his name in the Faculty. He was the
Yep.
Josh fucking the main character
Yep.
that was making the drugs, and like there were things about that character that I wanted to love because I typically like that character. But this kid irritated the shit out of me.
I think it was just the actor himself.
I didn't think
that's
it. Yeah, that's see what I'm
just-
getting.
I think
like,
that's
the
what it
acting
was.
in this
He just
movie
bothered me.
Right.
is what is the biggest thing, the biggest issue outside of the editing. I just didn't care for a lot of the acting that happened. in
Yeah.
this
I
movie.
feel like if you gave
I
that
don't-
same dialogue to a different kid, I feel like it
might
might
have
have
been
been. Yeah, it might have
I
been
don't know.
fine.
and it maybe it would have gone because, but there were a couple of things I didn't think were funny. But I have an issue with like stony characters that act too stony. Like for instance, in Cabin in the Woods, the Sony character, that kid irritated the shit out of me too. But like I got the purpose. of it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like but he didn't bother me as much because I'm like, oh no, you're supposed
Yeah.
to hate this kid.
And like,
because the movies are it's designed to be a trope.
and with the
designed to be a
greatest stoner
trope
kid
of-
of all time, the guy from Freddy vs. Jason, he was great too.
Oh,
Like,
he was. Yeah.
I hated him the most.
Oh, he
out
was
of everyone.
terrible.
Oh, dude, I
fucking
gotta
hated
watch
that
this
character.
movie.
He was
We're
garbage.
gonna watch it. We gotta break
I
that down.
hated that
I
fucking
liked him
kid.
too. I liked him
He
Just
too.
was
the-
wannabe J Muse.
He's J Muse.
Wannabe
That's
J
that's
Muse.
literally
He was
all
a
he
wannabe.
did.
That's the only thing I did
bananas.
not like about him, but I still liked him.
But he got
you
to
know,
smoke weed
yeah.
at Freddy's, so that was pretty cool.
That's true. That's true.
So yeah, and they move it. They do move it forward. Like then like Dina wants
like-
to confront Sam. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I liked when they started bringing in the ghosts. Like if I use the "it follows" term, because that's kind of
Yeah.
what these ghosts remind me of. They just keep coming, and then they start
Yeah,
putting
they
together
do.
why those ghosts are coming after them. Yeah,
Mhm.
what's his the Simon's got the blood on his shirt or whatever, and like that's
Yeah.
when they realize,
Yep,
oh
exactly.
fuck it. Then what's her face has the blood
Because
on
there's
her
a
shoe.
lot
So
of
you
twists. There's
see
a lot of
some-
different shit. You're like, holy shit,
Yeah.
what is going on here? Yeah.
There were things that I enjoyed about
Yeah.
this movie, and I was going like and
They
it was
threw
like
a lot at the wall though, and it felt like they threw
as
so
soon
much
as
at the
something
wall.
would start going well for me, like
Mhm.
something stupid would happen, or like I would notice like an acting part that drove me nuts, or like I don't. They were just
Yeah.
little things that it was. It's a fucking Netflix movie, and that's what you get with these kind of movies, though. That's the issue with a lot of these movies. The movie I was talking about earlier with the Tomorrow War. It's
Yeah.
a fucking. This is what
It's a
we're gonna have to deal
prime
with
movie.
now. We don't have big budget like movie companies making movies and like fine tooth comb, and like going through them with like a fine tooth comb to make sure that everything's perfect. We gotta just compete with the other guy's movie. Like we have to put out this to compete with the Tomorrow World or
Right.
Tomorrow War, which is gonna compete with fucking Paramount Plus, and we're gonna like they're all competing. So they're just buying every right to everything that they can and fucking shotgunning these movies out to compete with whatever's coming out now.
Yeah.
Because now they
yeah.
have to. Because now the market, especially with last year, like Black Widow, whatever, finally got dropped yesterday, and it's on.
Yep.
You can either pay $30 to watch it at your house on Disney Plus, or you can go spend $35 at the movie theater and watch it in a big screen. And like now, Netflix movies are competing with that because now,
Yeah.
before it was you either went to see a movie in the theater, and eventually you could see it on Netflix, and then Netflix would have its own original stuff that you could sit down and watch. Well, hey, everybody stole that from Netflix and now made their own fucking thing. So it's the snake eating itself. You know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah.
the vicious cycle.
Yeah.
But now they don't have the opportunity to make their movies go on the big screen like everybody else does, right? So like
Right,
now
right.
Disney Plus. So they're just
Right.
gonna shotgun these movies out without like, did we get the right acting choices? Man, did we edit this right? Or man, maybe we should have taken a little bit more time to polish it up
I
a
mean, but
little bit.
also, is it that, or is it just your view of the movie though too? You know,
It could be I'm just
I
an
think you're
asshole.
right to some degree.
But I mean, they also made
You're a
3
likable
movies.
asshole, Ed.
Yeah, they also made 3 movies and blasted them out at the same time. So like they
Right.
shotgun 3 movies. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
so it's when you think about it like that, like a TV show like The Boys, right?
Mhm.
Is 8 episodes, 8 hours long, right? Or 6 to 8 episodes long. So 6 to 8 hours of one giant movie.
Mm.
But every fucking one, you're like, man, I can't wait to the next one. I can't wait to the
Right,
next one. I
right.
can't wait to the next one. And then the final episode turns into a huge payoff. Still the best TV show going right now, and might be my favorite TV show of all time if it ends well, depending on whenever they end it.
Right.
But they do it perfect. Like there's not a stinker in the bunch on us. There's not one bad episode. There's not one bad editing choice. There's not one bad scene. There's not one bad joke. Like that show to me is fucking flawless. Like I think it is.
I agree.
Like beautiful.
Yeah.
See, I think the second season's flawless. I don't think the first season's flawless, but it's still a damn good show.
I'm the opposite. I love both. I think but that's the whole point, right? Like
Right.
some people
Exactly.
will say that's the whole thing with this, right? Like you love this, where I'm like,
Yeah.
I think you really fall for the nostalgia thing, and which is great, and I love that about you. I think that's amazing.
My closing arguments, I'll go into that a little bit because it's not just nostalgia. There's something else to this that's like just my style. I
Yeah,
do
I
like
get
the
it.
pacing. I like the crazy editing.
You like camp.
It's very campy. That's what I love about it. I don't like.
Yeah.
I shut my brain off and I got sucked
Yeah.
into it.
And
And
you
then I
have an
watched it
ability to do
twice, and
that.
I still
Yeah.
did it. I watched it twice.
You
I
have-
was watching it this morning just for notes, and I want to rewatch it again.
I'm truthfully, and I'll be honest, and I think I've even told Dennis, I'm almost jealous, and I hate to use the word jealous, but
I envy
I
it so hard, dude.
I admire the envy, and I admire the fact that you have an ability to just go, I'm just gonna watch a horror movie.
Yeah.
Nope,
and just
I
see what
can't do it.
I can to an extent
Mhm.
with some things,
Right.
but then like I go into everything with that turned off. Unfortunately, my crazy brain, my light switch is always kind of in the middle, getting put back up, and then if something catches it, then I can't stop. I start nitpicking things. So it's just the way my brain works, which I wish I could just turn off. And there are some things that I can do that with. And you go, how, like we have arguments with this on my podcast where like how can you hear one band and have a problem with clean singing, but you hear
Mhm.
another band and don't have a problem? Like, it doesn't make sense.
Right.
What is it in your ears that trigger that in you? And that kind of does that with me with movies and TV shows.
Right.
I don't know. It's good talking points. I'm glad that we're kind of doing this more of a discussion piece than like a let me break down every scene like we normally do, because this one is
Yeah.
it is like that, because I knew that was going to happen. I
Mhm.
was hoping you were going to like fucking flag in the ground. Let's go, motherfucker.
I'm
Let's talk
flagging.
about
I'm
this one.
flagging.
I love it. I love it. So continue on from there. This is where we start seeing the supernatural stuff. We start seeing the murders and stuff. I liked the ripoff of Jason Voorhees sack mask guy. I thought he was probably my
Yep.
favorite one.
That was my favorite
I
one.
thought he was pretty cool.
Because it was neat because you see the hospital scene, which is really cool. And it's where you get to like that gif of like what the hell is going on, because you, at first I was I'm glad I watched it again, because at first I was like, okay, this doesn't connect right, and then you saw again, you go further on, this is what's well done about it. You go further into it and you see why they're acting the way they are, because they're just trying to get Sam now. It's the way this thing works has changed because of what happened with that whole car bus scene, and when they discovered the witch's burial ground. So like you said, yeah, the slasher, the Nightwing with the bag over his head is really cool. We'll see that part too. Um, then they brought back Skullface, and then you see who that still is, and then you're like, who the hell is this chick with the razor blade? She's kind of creepy.
Do up, girl.
She came out of nowhere.
I wanted to love her too, and I didn't. I
Yeah.
wish they would have showed her a little bit more. I thought that I don't think they went retro enough with that girl. I thought she
Yeah.
looked too modern to me. And I wanted to, like, that was my opportunity to be like, oh, this is going to redeem it, because I love that era of like music and time and the 50s and all that stuff. And I
Did
thought they
her
kind of
clothes
missed
look
that one a little bit.
70s to you? Did her clothes look 70s to you at all?
Not 70s. That girl's supposed to be doo-wop. She's supposed to be like 50s or 60s. She's got like a beehive haircut and everything.
Oh yeah. That's right.
She's
Maybe
supposed to
because the
be
way she died made it look all sloppy
the
looking.
70s one. The 70s killer is the sack face guy, I thought.
Yeah, and she's supposed to be like the 50s. They
She's
go
supposed to be like 50s.
Or talking about
50s,
Ruby,
60s.
like with
Yeah,
the
Yeah.
yeah,
more-
Ruby was really good too. Skullface was, he was fine. For me, like
I
in
actually
terms
enjoyed.
of
I
what
thought the Skullface guy was great.
Skullface
I
was
thought-
Yeah,
out
he
of love. He's out of love for Ghostface.
yeah,
he's the love
exactly.
letter to.
And
He's the
then
love
the
letter to
sackhead
Scream,
was
Jason.
was Jason.
Yeah, which that
So-
one was supposed to be the 70s, from what I thought. I think he's supposed to be from the camp, which is love letter to Jason.
78.
Yeah, which is 78.
Yeah, which we'll get in that in a few days.
The Ruby character, whatever. I wanted to love that one. I love that time period, but I don't know. I thought they could have done a better job with that one. I think the modernization of the way they shot the movie kind of took me out of that one character. But I also
see
like
that.
the fact. I thought it was funny that Simon had a thing for her. I thought that was kind of cute. I thought that was
the hot
good.
chick's coming. The hot chick's coming. She's coming. Oh, it was really funny. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I thought that was cool.
And then you was neat. The whole school scene was kind of cool, because then you get to see the teenage aspect, whereas like the teenagers are smart. They're setting traps, almost like Nancy and Freddy Krueger, or there's a couple others like
Kevin Malone from Home Alone.
There you go. Go Home Alone. So they started setting a trap for these.
Did you say hold on? Did you just say Kevin Malone from Home Alone?
He did kind of. I was like, wait a minute, what?
Did you just say Kevin Malone from Home Alone?
What's his fucking name, dude? Just say it quickly.
Kevin McCall.
Whatever. I don't fucking care. Who cares?
No, I just think it's funny that you just said Kevin Malone from Home Alone. Like,
Yeah.
You did it because it rhymed.
Oh, I thought it was whatever. Yeah, I don't fucking
Another
care.
amazing '90s movie. Also, The Good Son.
I guess
technically.
it's fine.
Oh, nice. So yeah, then you get the whole scene with the school. The school was another thing you get to see, like how these things won't really die, which is kind of cool. It kind of threw me back to Stranger Things season 3 with the effects on that. With their bodies coming back together. I thought it was kind of badass.
That wasn't bad. I didn't mind that, because I was like, oh, you can't kill it. But that takes me right back to It Follows or any other of those ghost kind of things that just keep coming. Like, that's what it reminded me of that a lot for some reason. But even that I thought that movie's amazing. That movie's fucking.
It Follows. I would love to talk about that. Yeah.
That's a great nostalgic movies, time feeling movie, and like I thought they did that perfect. And that's a low budget movie. They did a really good job with that. But anyways, so I'm gonna kind of utilize that a lot, because that's what these ghosts remind me of, the way they
that's a really good comparison. I like that.
And then it kind of gets past that, and then what are they like? They go to I think they escape in the ambulance, right? And then they figure out that they try to go. Is this when they try to go back to the woods and try to stop it there?
I jumped ahead, so they do take the ambulance from the school, which I kind of loved. I thought it was hilarious. These teenagers are driving around the ambulance throughout the whole
Yeah.
movie. And then what they try to do? They oh yeah, they did. No, they they go back to the school. I mean, they go back to the grave to try to shut it down there, and that's where they figure out because that's when Nightwing ran right past Josh and went after Sam, and that's where you start to figure out the supernatural connection to it, and whatnot. And then they took it to the school to set the trap for these things to try and defeat them, and that's when they found out, holy shit, we can't even kill these things. What can we do? And then they're going. Then that's where they come up with the whole plot of like using Sam for bait in the grocery store. So I'm jumping ahead. He's always trying to save time. So
I'm good with it because again, I didn't want to go scene by scene in this one. I just want to kind of get like.
So and then there's a lot of great gore going on. This thing. There's a lot of great thing with the effects and the twists in the story, stuff like that. I thought it was kind of cool. They just the pacing keeps hitting you and hitting you and hitting you like with this movie. So
I feel like a second watch is necessary because I feel like because of how fast they did it, there's a lot to miss.
Yeah,
they tried to cram a lot in a really quick amount of time. It was about an hour and 40 minutes or so. This movie.
It was almost it's about an hour and 47 minutes actually. It's almost 2 hours. Because I was like, holy crap, that's wild.
But so I mean, with how fast they, I feel like when you try, I don't know, they tried to cram a lot, and they tried to. I think there were some editing choices where I think they could have cut some things out to get like more of the story. Like I would have liked to see a little bit more. Granted, there's 2 more movies coming up, so we don't know what we're gonna see next, right? Like I don't know what they're holding back on. So I did think we can kind of cut to or jump to like near the end, like the whole shop scene or whatever, the supermarket scene. I thought that was. I didn't expect certain people to die. The way they did, or in general.
Actually.
Oh,
I really didn't.
That's all.
The bread cutter.
Yeah,
I didn't
just say that because we don't want to spoil too much.
I was kind of bummed because that character, like, I really by that point I actually was like,
I like
this
that
is my
character
favorite character in the movie right now. And then as soon as that happens, I was like, okay, what the fuck, man?
They dragged that kill out a ton, and like they were like, oh no, they'll be fine, they'll be fine.
Yeah.
And
then
nailed
then
it.
it happens. I was like, but I get it. So I was actually kind of glad to finally see some.
And then somebody felt the edge of the axe.
Yeah, somebody. That was actually right. And then they figure out how to like. I had issues with like the fucking the drug scene, trying to kill herself with all that, and then like there were a couple other things I don't want to spoil things, but there were a couple. The way they come up with a way to like keep Sam or save Sam's life because they realize that the ghosts are going to keep on trying to go after her. Then they also realize, like, I think this is right around, they realize that there's somebody that survived this already once before because Josh is like he's like an encyclopedia about all this stuff.
God,
he realizes the person. They try to get a hold of that person. The cop drops a weird note off at somebody's house.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that. So we're going to do it ending a little bit. Yeah.
Yep. So we're kind of getting near the end, and then we see we know that there's some of these characters are going to come back because there's like the drug dealer dude that's at the prison, and he's been there a few times. And then when they finally get to the prison or the jail or whatever, after a couple of people, after the supermarket scene's done and a few people have been killed off, the survivors. I'm trying to not spoil who dies, who doesn't die.
Yeah.
The survivors are being questioned. Essentially, they end up getting released. They think that they're all safe. It kind of cuts. I think the movie's going to end, and then it like has a not quite yet kind of a moment where Dina and Josh are back home, planning to do some more things later on, hang out with some of their friends later on. We'll say. So Josh is in the basement again, doing his thing. He's got a coming of age moment where he orders pizza, and apparently that's a big deal for Dina, which I get what they're setting up there, but it fell on me a little bit.
I didn't get it.
I did get it because early on she yells at Josh because she does everything and their dad's an alcoholic. He's never home. And she feels like she's being pressured, and this is when Skullmask shows up the first time and she goes to like stab him or whatever because like she's like, oh, you didn't hear the doorbell, Josh, blah blah blah. He's downstairs listening to White Zombie. Full circle.
No way he has a doorbell. We listen to White Zombie. God damn it.
No, you're not supposed to. That's the whole point. But then full circle comes around. She's hearing knocking, and like Josh is actually out there with food, and like, oh hey, like, oh, good for you. And I get it. I just, by that point, I'll be honest again, this point in the movie, this is when I realized I couldn't stand that actress. Like I just thought she did. I didn't like her. It's I'm not saying I didn't like the character. I get what they were doing with it. I get what they were doing with the
Yeah.
setup. I didn't care for the way that girl acted, and
It would
I
be cool to see
also,
if you do a second watch, see if you feel the same
if
way a
I,
little
yeah,
bit.
I'm hoping that I do because by this she drove me fucking bananas by this point.
Yeah.
Because by this point she was really, there were a lot of like, there were a lot of emotional scenes with her and Sam, and I
Yeah.
thought both of them drove me fucking insane. I don't have
Yeah,
a
see, me,
problem with the
I
scenes.
loved them. I get what you're
I
saying.
thought their chemistry was awful. I thought
Yeah.
that the two of them together were
Oh, you're
terrible
such a
on screen.
nerd right now.
I thought fucking Sam was. I thought she was just as irritating.
Mhm.
She overacted a bunch. I thought she, like, I don't know. It just, there were fucking things about those two actors, actresses, whatever. I just, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Dude, I cannot tell you.
Sam looked like
What took me out of
somebody
it?
like they would be a frequent goer to the Washington County Fair, and it just kind of threw me off.
Yeah, I
And-
thought she looked a little.
Yeah, she's
For
looked
somebody
like
that was. I
yeah.
know something
I don't
about
get
her.
it.
I don't think they. I don't think they chose that character right. Or I don't know. I just.
She
I
See,
herself
and
was
I like the
fine.
plain
just-
I like the plain Jane look out of her. That's what you're going
Not the.
with. I like,
That's not what it is. It's not. That's not what I mean.
yeah, no.
I thought that they. I don't know how to say it. I don't know how to say it. I really don't, because I don't know what it is. I don't know what
Yeah.
like is giving me a bad taste.
yeah,
I know what Dina is. I don't like the way she talks. I don't like.
Yeah.
She doesn't feel believable. She doesn't feel like a badass from the like the bad side of town. She just feels like a girl pretending like she's a badass to me, and that.
I
drives
mean,
me
that
nuts.
could be, but that maybe that's what they're doing too, because like again, it's the teenagers, you know?
I wish I could have your
Yeah, but I mean-
whirling sense of optimism for this type of shit, Joe. Because it's
Yeah,
like
I love
I
it.
can't. Yeah, I can't be like, oh well, maybe it's because of this. I'm like, the second I don't like something, it's like, nah,
optimism.
I don't like
just
it.
see it's not the optimism. I just see it differently. I guess.
Yeah, I get it.
You know,
Which
it's
which
is good. The perspective of it, you know.
It is.
But
It's
I
great to
love
have
that.
different
I love that
That's the
perspective.
whole point of these things. I love.
Yeah.
It. I love that.
If every person in this show was like me and Ed, everything would
Dude,
just
if- If we all loved everything equally, there's no
Oh,
reason
man.
to do this.
yeah. So
We
you need
to
that.
find a
You need
movie
that
I
chaos.
hate. I mean, I hate. There's movies out there I don't like. I gotta pick. I gotta find it. I gotta find it.
No. See, that's the thing. I want it to come organically. I don't want to find. I don't want
wanna
you to
go
find a movie
towards
you
it.
don't like and then
Right.
watch it.
Right.
I want to fucking come across a movie like a suggestion someday. We all watch and we come back and like me and Ben are like, man, what a fucking movie, and you go, yikes, guys.
Yeah.
like that's what I want. Because this, I thought I was gonna love this. I'm like, oh shit, 94, my wheelhouse. It's like Scream, R.L. Stein.
I knew
really
the
wanted
things
to
you
love this.
love, the stuff you're talking about, especially with the editing. I already knew one of you or both
And
of you have an issue with.
I
knew
think
it was
that's
gonna
why
happen.
I'm so nitpicky. No, I think
Yeah.
the reason why I'm so nitpicky, Joe, is because I wanted to love this.
Yeah.
I wanted to love this, and I fucking, just like another great example. I've talked about this a couple times recently. The what's the movie with Russell Crowe that came out last year? Where he's a big fat psycho and he goes on a killing spree.
Unhinged.
Unhinged. Yeah, you keep bringing this one up.
I wanted to fucking love that movie.
And I
really
love
did.
it. I think that movie's
I
awesome.
thought the movie was atrocious.
Well, it's
It was
because your whole thing
horrible.
is you're fucking afraid of cell phones or something, or like cameras.
No,
The second
no.
cell phones and cameras are in the mix, you're horrified and you hate it. Like I gotta,
Oh,
I don't know how the fuck. How are you?
No, I
how
know
are you
why I
even?
don't like that movie. That movie was.
Are
that
you
movie
even
was ass.
in
That movie was
Discord?
ass.
You're using a cell phone, dick ass.
I'm on. A lot of the issues that I have with this, I had with that, but for different reasons. Like they were just but that movie is worse because that's supposed to be a modern movie. That's supposed to be like.
Yeah.
literally
No,
last
I'm
year,
busting
and
balls.
it-
I get your point, but for me, it's like, just fucking.
I think my problem is when I want to love something and I get let down by it, I get really let down by it. Does that make sense? Like I
Mhm.
had really high hopes for Unhinged, and I fucking hated it. And I think I hated it because I wanted to love it so much.
see. I think
If I go
maybe
into
that's
something
why.
like you, Joe, where you just go, I'm just gonna watch it and see what happens.
Yeah,
I
like
don't. I think if I didn't have as much, or like you ever have a really high anticipation for an album that comes out, and then it comes out and you're like, it was okay. Why did it take 10 years to write this and release it? I mean, it
why
was
did this?
okay.
Yeah.
Why did this one goth metal band release one album every single year for the past 4 years? I don't know. Black Angel, why do you keep doing
Black
it?
Angel.
I'm sorry,
Well, the
guys.
first, only 3, but the first 2 are
Three.
phenomenal.
You're
This
right.
new album
Yeah, because they
is
made
not
a
great.
deluxe thing or whatever. Yeah, like
Yeah,
I
this new one, not great.
Lost me in this one.
come on, guys, go back to the drawing
Black
board.
Angel,
Prince of
phenomenal.
Darkness wasn't
Yeah.
very good.
Yeah.
So
Oh wait, I think you told me about Black Angel. Now I remember. It's a
you
long
like
time ago.
them.
you told
They're
me about
very like 80s new wave.
Self-titled
goth. You
album
love
might
them.
be one of my
yeah.
favorite albums ever made.
So I think that should explain a little bit more what I'm getting at is like I
Yeah.
think when I have high hopes for something, like Like everybody
I did hype it up a little much. I was texting you guys. I was going all crazy and shit.
No, it wasn't just you. I know. I follow a bunch of horror stuff that was hyping it up too. So,
Dude,
but
a lot of people were
what
hyping this.
What I've noticed is the people that love this continuously say, if you love it or hate it, which means you're already in defense mode. Like when you say that, love it or hate it, I love it. Like if you have to say that before you go into it,
and there are some reviews that said
you
the same
already
thing you
know.
said actually, which is interesting.
Yeah. So that means you know that it's not great, but you might like it for what it is.
Yeah.
You might love it,
which is
And
fine.
that's beautiful, and that's campy. That's campy, brother.
right, which is great. And some things like that get away with it. Like I can pass some things like that and really love it and defend. I'll fucking defend it all day long. Like I'll defend camp in my eyes. Right, to the same idea is Ice Nine Kills, the band.
Yeah.
It's perfect in what we're talking about here. That band is campy as fuck. I get why metal fans will fucking hate that.
I know so many people that hate that band, but I love it.
I've tried showing that band to people. They do not get it. I feel like you're listening to a modern rock opera. I love it. I fucking think it's amazing. That's one of the only true concept albums I've seen in 20 years. And truthfully be a concept album and fucking crush it. That band, I've seen that band live, and I'll tell you what, Ben saw them with me. They are fucking amazing live. They're everything you think
they're wicked theatrical and like they have so much shit going on.
It's so cool.
It's
very
really
loud
cool,
and it's very fucking we saw them open up for Motionless in White, who's another big theatrical band. Motionless in White, they're another one. I don't love everything they do, but I like a lot.
One of their most recent albums wasn't very good, but
live they're amazing live because you're watching it's almost like going back and watching Rob Zombie back in the day. Like
they just did a live stream. They just did because they live in Pittsburgh, so they're pretty much a PA band. They just did a live stream at Pennhurst's haunted attraction like 2 weeks ago. I think I still watch. I don't know.
Ice Nine Kills?
That's freaking cool. No,
Motionless White. Oh, that's cool. No, I didn't know that.
Ice Nine Kills Boston, then New England.
Yeah,
cool. I didn't know that.
So I got two horror bands, New England and PA. I'm happy, man.
But so I thought that would be a good example of how to compare the two. Like I know music, so that's the easiest.
Metal horror, man. That's how we live. That's how we always lived a lot. And some metalheads are not horror fans, and some horror fans are not metalheads. You know. So, but we always cross the two.
So we'll wrap it up because I don't want to give away.
We're at the end, so yeah.
Here's the deal. So the end of this movie wraps up okay, and it sets up into the next one. So I'm not gonna give away anything else. I personally, I'm
very excited for the not the sequel.
You guys
part two.
You guys go your ratings first if you want, and I'll go my last.
Here's what I'll go first if that's cool because I'm gonna have a different opinion than everybody else, and I think Ben should go second than Joe last.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, I've already beat this horse to death. Open up. I love the opening of this movie. The opening scene in general, fucking killed it. Literally killed it. Figuratively killed it. Metaphorically killed it. Like I loved the opening scene of this movie, and it set me up. That's the movie I wanted to see, and that's not the movie I got personally. That's me, right? I thought there were things about this movie that I really liked. There were things about this movie that made me want to watch it a second time, but I wanted to wait until we did this because I was hoping one of you guys could sway my opinion a little bit more. I'm excited to see what happens next. I'm excited to see what happens with the next two of them. I'm really hoping that they do a better job with the nostalgia thing in the 78 movie. I think they'll have a better opportunity. I think this one, because we literally remember this so well, we are going to be more opinionated about it. We don't remember 1978 because none of us were born then. So I think it's going to be the easier one to let go of that.
I was born for 78. My bad.
Yeah, right. Good job, Ben.
I was born in the 90s.
But so I have high hopes for that, and I have high hopes for whatever they do with it. I'm not poo-pooing the whole series yet because I haven't seen it yet.
No.
Was I let down by this one? I was. I also think it's because I wanted to love it. I really had high hopes for it, being that it's a 90s thing, and I'm like a dude who loves that era. So I already talked about my issues with it. I already talked about the flaws that I have with it. I didn't get into a lot of the things I loved about it because what I love, I have to give spoilers away. And I didn't want to do that on this episode. I want people to go watch it and listen and check it out for themselves. At the recap, the series recap that we're going to do, I will go into spoilers then, and I'll talk about the things I loved about this movie. And by that point, I'll see it a second time. First viewing, you guys did not sway my opinion on my score at all, but you swayed my opinion on wanting to actually go back and watch it now. I was really not looking forward to rewatching. I knew I was going to have to, but I was not looking forward to the opportunity to rewatch it. I was bummed, to be honest with you. I am now.
God damn it.
You guys did make me want to go watch the second time because I'm hoping that there were things that I didn't put together the first time. With that said, the first episode it's getting a 6.5, man. I'm like barely fresh on this one. It just I wanted to love it. I don't love it, but there's meat on the bone. There's meat on the bone. So maybe I'll change my opinion by the end. But right now, this first episode left me a little flat, 6.5. Not terrible, but not my favorite. Go ahead, Ben.
Damn.
I think that might be the lowest score anything's gotten so far.
No, 13. Oh, for you? I was gonna say yeah, no, because 13 Ghosts was
for me, yeah.
6.5 and Blood in the Axe. Oh, Edge in the Axe.
I
think So we haven't gone any lower than 6 yet.
I haven't.
I have.
Sorry, everybody.
Anyway,
go ahead.
So I definitely liked it a little bit more than Ed did. I don't listen whenever it comes to that type of stuff. I don't listen to hype. Like I hear it and it's like, yeah, that the only time I do is it. But we all knew that movie was gonna be fucking good no matter what. So I definitely went into it with an open mind. I will say I am a tad biased when I say now, Ed, don't freak out when I say this. I really don't like 90s stuff or cell phones. I hate cell phones and cameras. Anyway, it just doesn't. It just doesn't appeal to me very much. I just don't get it. Like, yeah, like they played all songs I like, but no shit. Like they're gonna play the hits. Like then they did get me with some nostalgia with Castlevania Bloodlines. They knew what they were doing. They hit something with everybody. The horror stuff I actually liked. Whenever it would actually get into the real horror stuff. I actually was a big fan. I liked the 3 ghosts that they did. Ruby was definitely probably my least favorite of the bunch, but they were all really good in their own right. The kills were fucking, all of them were clean as shit, dude. All of them were awesome. It leaves you wanting for more for Fear Street Part 2, and I'm very much looking forward to that. Just like Ed said, that first scene really knows how to get you in, but then after that it just kind of falls flat. It's just, this one's so fucking hard for me. I don't know what to say. I know I already wrote down my score and I'm already gonna give it, but it's like, Jesus Christ, like I just feel bad because there's so many people that just love this movie, and I'm actually in the middle of the road, and I'm just like, it's fine. It nothing fucking fantastic or anything, but maybe I think what I'm gonna do is once the series is done, I'm gonna go back, and that's how I'm gonna rewatch it. So as a just straight up movie, without considering the fact that it is a part of a trilogy that you realistically have to watch all 3, I'm gonna give it what are we giving it? A 1 out of 10? Did you think about that?
I did not, because I didn't love it, so I thought somebody else was gonna come up with it. But how about this?
Damn.
How about this? We will go with
Witch Hands.
For this one. Nope. We're gonna go with 1 out of 10 Surge cans of Surge.
Oh, yeah. There you go, Joe.
I'm still gonna give it 6.5 cans of Surge.
That's fine.
I like
6.5 cans of Surge.
Well, you didn't even drink that shit like I did, so there you go, 6.5 makes sense.
Oh, dude, I love Surge.
Joe,
you probably had 6.5 your entire life. I had 6.5 in a fucking day.
Joe, I hated Surge. I thought
I love Surge.
But when it came back out a couple years ago, I bought a fucking case of it because I wanted to feel like a kid again, and I did.
Yeah,
so
you did. I remember that.
Nice. Anyway,
Harper now. Sorry, go ahead.
Nope. I'm almost done. So with that in mind, I don't know why I said that, like Gerard from The Completionist. I give that my movie rating of a 7 out of 10. It was fine.
That's not bad. 7's not a bad.
6.5 is not a bad
score.
It's a passing grade.
Yeah,
it is. Yeah. That's not bad at all.
But it didn't give me the line of I'm depressed and I have a headache like Edge of the Axe did. So, go ahead.
Sorry.
All right. So, obviously, I love this because I freaked out when I watched it.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't
you?
Me. So I nerded on this so bad. It's not even just the nostalgia. It's something with like how I was raised on horror movies. Yep. It brought all that back. And there's a lot of movies that done that. There's a lot of movies that the Wretch has done that. There's a lot of like newer stuff that's out there. It's like, holy shit, they're bringing back what I love. Even though there's a lot of horror movies, not bringing it back, but there's a certain element that sometimes you miss and it comes back, and it always pops up here and there. This one like not only brought that back for me as a slasher fan, but just as like the chaos that this movie was. I was just like, I just got sucked in with every over exaggerated, far fetched, nutcase like aspect of it. The teenage aspect of it. I related to every part of these kids, even if I wasn't in the same lifestyle as them. There's something about it that just made me think of us. Like how we were as a group, how we accepted everybody, how we were into that whole music. It's just everything was the two sides of like, and it was great hearing you about like talk about like you were in those two different sides, like Shady Side and Sunnyvale. I never knew that. So that's kind of cool. And then like that's how it was with me with Cranston East and Cranston West. So it hit me on all aspects of that. And then when I watch it again,
Real quick with that, I will talk about that more when we do the recap.
Yeah,
Again,
because they still add more to it.
There were things about
I don't
that.
want to say anything.
I didn't want to give too many spoilers
Yeah.
away in this, so I did my best to try to review. And that's why we went more on like tangents on like the music and stuff.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
Just to try to break it up a little. Go ahead. Sorry.
I also liked hearing people online that loved it, that are I want to say straight out like that there are different race or gender, sexuality, that grew up in that same time, and like this is the soundtrack of my life. I loved hearing it. I love hearing, how it was sometimes in the '90s. There was a split with music. The big business music can't really separate people. If you listen to this music, you're this type of person. If you listen to this music, you're this type of person. It really did split, and you don't realize how many different people listen to metal or grunge or rock. So this movie kind of like did that. I even for the '90s, that existed. I thought that was really freaking cool. So I love every part of that. And then the kills are great. I loved and hated the characters at the same time because there were moments where they were just like, yeah, we were rooting for you, but there's moments like, holy shit, these kids are assholes.
Yeah.
And I love that. And yeah, there was some like moments, the acting was overdone because the kids, well, actually they're in their 20s, I think. But like I actually agree with all the little nitpicky things that are in there. But I let it go. I just went complete camp and got sucked in, and then still felt the same watching it a second time, and even just watching a little bit today just to get my notes down. I still felt the same. I fast forward through a lot of stuff and still felt the same way about the movie. So it's weird. Like so after my long ass rant, and I love how they set this up, the ending too, to get ready for the next ones. After my long ass rant, this is the first 10 surge cans out of 10 for me, because I almost went 9.5, 9.8, but because it might change. Maybe it might go lower because I'm too much hyped into it. Maybe just I'm so much sucked
the score is fucking final, Joe. It's set in stone.
I'm cool with that. Because here's the thing, I may not rate the entire series as a 10. Right. This one right here, like the pacing was, I love the insanity of it. I write some of my stuff like this too, like just the nuttiness of it. So it hit me in different ways. I also like
have you ever read the books? Did you read the books?
I thought I read Fear Street. I have read a couple of R.L. Stein's young adults other than Goosebumps, but I don't remember which ones. I do remember liking them. I do remember thinking, holy crap, this is considered YA, but it's pretty... It's weird. Slasher is kind of YA to some degree. If you don't get too extreme...
Oh, young adults.
Young adult.
Yeah, I'm
Slasher movies can...
Young assholes.
yeah. We're a bunch of...
Sorry, that went right over my head first. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
That's a...
Ben, industry terms, go fuck yourself.
Oh,
no, I knew right away.
So, like...
I'm a fucking dork, though. I'm just a really big dork.
Degree. I mean, shit, man. The Faculty was pretty gory at some points.
I love that movie.
It's like a YA movie.
That fucking movie. That movie's amazing, and that movie holds up.
Scream felt like that. Faculty holds up. I rewatched that. Scream. If you take away the goriness of the first scene, and it's pretty violent, it still kind of had a YA feel to it.
Well, that's what it was. That was like the first of its kind.
Slashers are. Tone. Every slasher you watch is always teen slasher all the time,
So Scream is what reinvented the American slasher movie. Like it reinvented that whole genre, and then you had a million copycat movies after that. But it did. It brought back a whole thing, and it brought back horror movies, because in the '90s, horror movies essentially died. Like that's well known.
It did, and the good ones are hard to find. We talked about a lot of
it became action and like drama. Like drama movies were really big in the '90s.
God, drama in the '90s is so terrible.
That's what it was. It was all like fucking
so bad. It's so
Crying Game and whatever.
Yeah,
a lot of that kind of shit, or like weird, wacky, outside the box movies. But there were a lot of like thrillers, like Seven and fucking Copycat and movies like that were like that took over where like horror would have been considered. Scream brought back like the slasher movie, like it really did.
Yeah.
It reinvented it, and it did it well. And that movie's amazing. We are going to talk about the movie someday with brother Nate. But like just like anything that's done well, people are gonna anytime like a chemistry or a recipe is made, somebody's gonna try to recreate it and fuck it up. Like you can't recreate like I mean, a million ketchup companies can try to make ketchup, but Heinz is the best one. You know what I mean? Like you can try to make just as you can go with whatever you want, but it's true. You know what I mean? Like there are just certain things like fucking British new British wave of metal, right? Judas Priest comes out, crushes everything. Everything after that kind of tries to just be Judas Priest. Fucking
Right.
early 2000s, Shadows Fall fucking recreates the American wave of new heavy metal. Lamb of God kind of rides their coattails and catapults past them, and everybody after that just tried doing the same thing Shadows Fall was doing, and they couldn't do it. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, and now everything sounds like this. Now when you go back and listen to those bands, it sounds like they've all been done before, but like it's because they have, and everything has their thing, right? Like look at fucking slasher movies, like Halloween and fucking Halloween and Friday the 13th come out. How many thousands of movies have been made since then that are just those movies, or just like those movies, and they're not as good. You know what I mean? Like everything's gonna have their thing. This is a nostalgia version to throw to that. Like there were things about this movie I did love. I didn't get into it too much because I knew you were gonna rave about it. So like I want to be the counterpoint once in a while when I can be, because I do love a good like argument or a debate. Debate is a better way to say it, because we're not arguing about shit. Arguments are when you walk away and piss at each other. Debates are like, oh, you had good points. You know, you might not have changed my opinion, but it was a good, well
I'm
thought
in a
out.
perpetual state of
debate.
pissed at you, though.
Yeah, well, that's just because we're brothers.
Oh,
Fuck you, you stupid nerdy bitch.
Oh, true.
Nerdy bitch.
Oh,
Damn.
damn.
Joe, have you ever seen It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia? Have you ever watched that show?
I watched a few, but not religiously. But it
You gotta
is
watch it.
funny.
The scene I'm talking about, I'm gonna send it to you later on. It's fucking hilarious. One Mac in the show, really quick, just so you understand, real quick, what this is, and the people that watch this will get what we're talking about. Mac is an interesting fella in the show. He's got a lot of very strong opinions. He loves bodybuilders and he loves karate and he loves being a man, and he turns out that he's gay later on in the series. But he's been defending the fact that he's not the whole time, but he's like been pseudo gay the whole time, and he's against science because he believes in God and all this other shit. Yeah, he does this weird. You just gotta see. So they're doing this debate. They're doing this debate thing one time, and he pulls up this chart, and he's talking about like Galileo, and he's talking about what are all the things, Ben, that he talks about, like
science is a stupid bitch.
Scientist. Yeah, scientist. And he's like, he's got this like magnetic board, and he's got like Galileo with the theory of blah blah blah.
Because the whole thing is like science is a liar sometimes. He's like, science is a liar.
He's talking about how science is a liar. Right. He's talking about how science is bullshit. And he'll talk about the first point, bitch, and he slaps this magnet that says bitch next to it, and then he goes down to the next one, bitch, and then he goes to the next one, bitch.
I just put it up on the screen for people to see.
He goes, shut up, you stupid science bitch, and like,
oh my God.
You're a science bitch.
That still might be my favorite fucking scene in that entire fucking show.
He drank mercury, making him a stupid bitch, and he just
bitch. It's so fucking funny, dude. It's hilarious. And that just like anytime I think about that, I'm like, when I gotta prove Ben wrong, I'm just gonna be like, "Fuck you, stupid nerdy bitch," because like,
and then fucking like, Charlie references it later. Stupid science bitch couldn't make even I more smarter. Best line.
It's so good. All right, enough about that. See, I'm nerdy about this show, Joe.
No, we're all nerdy in our own way. So like, that's why I made the joke. We're nerdy Neanderthals.
Yeah, we are.
So why I am excited about this, and I'm gonna throw another movie out there because this is the style of like movies and TVs these days. Everything has to be epic and big. Like you got the Marvel universe. Now you got how Fear Street is doing this 3 movies to make it one big story, which you see that in part 2, which I saw. I'm gonna rewatch it again. And then even the new Halloween movies are doing it. Like they had to see how Halloween 2018 did, which I thought was great. But they also like it's supposed to be all 3 movies will be one big movie. And so like now we're going to Halloween Kills, and this is like the climax of that story. And that's why it's gonna be all chaotic, which is why I'm so excited about it, because the town is going to go into the town shit, the town being angry, the mob mentality. It's going to go into some really supposedly it's supposed to like kind of change the slasher genre again a little bit. It's supposed to be in which that's crazy, like the 13th Halloween movie. If you could do that with that many movies and remakes, I'm down, and that's why I just compare the two for some reason. So yeah, that's why that's my weird off rant of like connecting everything, if it made sense. So
Well, I enjoyed the fact that we had an honest, debatable show. I enjoyed the fact we got to bring up some stuff and not really pinpoint everything, and we still went an hour and a half, which is fine because we went on rants and did what we do, which is fucking
yeah,
hilarious. But it's different than what we've been doing with the shows. Hopefully, whoever watches this, if this tantalizes you at all, to go back and watch the show if you haven't watched it yet. Go check it out. We're gonna do all three. If you didn't pay attention when we said that earlier, hopefully you enjoy this. Hopefully you enjoy the show itself. Let us know what you think. Tell me if I'm a stupid science bitch. Tell me if I'm wrong about it. Tell me if let's. I would love it if somebody called me a stupid science bitch. Maybe I am. Maybe Joe's wrong. Maybe Joe, but Joe's not wrong because he loves something. Just like it's an opinion. Like tell us where you're at. Did you hate this? Did you have the same issues that I had?
Joe's a stupid old
Did White Zombie
bitch.
Shingle come out in '94?
No.
It didn't, but that's okay.
No.
It doesn't matter whether it did or it didn't. That's not the point I want to make about that. The point, because I didn't care because the movie's just supposed to go by '90s. So if we're gonna be continuity issues,
Hooked on the '90s.
I thought that was funny. But go check this out. Follow us this week because we're gonna do all three. We're gonna talk about the next one sometime early in the week coming up, and we'll have that out. So hopefully you enjoyed this. Hopefully you enjoyed the movie itself, and hopefully you'll enjoy the series enough to check us out. Go check out our other stuff. Check us out on Instagram. Check us out on Spotify. Check us out on YouTube. That's where you'll be able to see this later on, or the other reviews.
Like, comment, subscribe, everybody. You actually
Eddie_Vegas on Instagram. Bonded by Horror on Instagram. Ben, what are you?
A man. Scrooge Champ.
Sometimes.
It's Scrooge Champ. Oh, true. On everything. Twitch, Instagram, Twitter. I stream fucking pretty much every day now because I am a stupid video game nerdy bitch. So, and proud of it.
God damn it. Well, are we gonna make that our thing now? I love it. I'm a stupid music bitch. There you go.
There you go. And I'm JC Walsh. I'm a stupid book bitch. So nerdy book bitch. So,
I was gonna say stupid
Join the
nerdy.
club, brother.
Yeah. Nerdy horror bitch.
My first book I wrote is as chaotic as this goddamn movie.
True.
Randy. So you can find me on Instagram and Slasher, both JC Walsh 81. You can find that badass shit on Amazon, along with my other releases and other things I'm involved with. You can find me on Twitter. And what else do I have on there? Oh, and you can find me on another movie talk with Amon Rosamilia. So we'll be doing our next one pretty soon. Can't wait for that. So that's 4 movies. That's a breakdown of 4 movies. We review each one within the span of an hour.
And in that one, you guys don't call each other stupid nerdy bitches.
No, we don't call each other stupid nerdy bitches.
What? You guys are
shame.
You guys are a little more tame than we are.
Yeah. So
listen, man, I can't have Party Time Excellent tattooed on my bicep and not fucking live that way.
You gotta show that shit.
Oh, can
there
you see
it is. There it is.
Party Time Excellent?
Yeah.
All right, yeah. So go check out Joe's other show. That it is a fun thing to watch. Armand's a good dude from what I've seen. I've never met him. Well, now that the world's opening up, one of these book things I'll come down and check out and meet you guys. It'd be awesome to.
Yeah.
I'd love to be able to talk to guys like that because I don't read books at all. You can probably tell because look at me.
Yeah, I'm a nerd in different ways, not books.
I'm a nerd in different ways, but I love theory and I love talking about a lot of the time writers from what I've seen from listening to you and him talk and just all you guys in general. You guys are open to opinions, which is nice, which is a lot of people nowadays aren't. So it's good talking points with you guys. So I'd love to sit in one of those book things that you guys meet up and do like beers and fears or one of those things. I'll make it down and I'd love to sit at a round table and talk to people like that about.
What is that, like a book club, like nerds?
And they're all metalheads too, and it's just like Amon and Chuck. Amon's an old school metalhead, so you guys talk a lot about the '80s shit, So yeah, we're all like.
Literally, the last book I read was Death Highway, and I really liked it.
You
so
gotta jump on the second release, dude. You're making me feel.
I gotta buy that. I gotta pick it up. It's making me feel bad. I gotta pick that up soon. I'll pick it up this week.
That was 2019.
Do you have any copies on? Do you have any copies at home? Within the Abyss? Do you have any of that at home?
I do. Let me see how much. I got a book signing coming up. Oh my god, okay. That's actually been announced. I'm an idiot. If anybody's in the New Jersey, Philadelphia area, I do have a book signing coming up. Well, even Rhode Island come up too. I have a book signing in Mount Laurel, New Jersey at Second Time Bookstore with 3 other authors: Tim Meyer, Todd Kiesling, and Frank Edler. So there we go. So I do have some. That's July 24th is a Saturday, 10 to 2. There we go. Because the flyer went out, so I'm like, holy shit, I forgot about that.
Then I'll definitely
So,
upload this one.
If you close the
tomorrow for
area,
that,
or
too.
if people want to drive, whatever, there's something come up. So
Yeah, Ben, isolate. Can you isolate that part, or do you need me to do it?
If you would do,
For
that'd be
Joe?
awesome because I
I'll see if I can.
won't. All right.
Try to do it. Yeah. I should
Anyway,
be able to do
that
for you. I'll try to clip that out, Joe,
Yeah.
for you. We can
after
clip that out.
show.
oh, cool.
All right. Anything else? I love you
That's it.
guys.
Bye, dudes.
All right,
See you in a couple days.
stay bloody.
Stay bloody, everybody. Bye.